Okay, today is October 25th, 2021. This is a meeting of the Hanson Recreation Commission. We are meeting in the main lodge at Camp Kawani. It is 6:51 and this meeting is being recorded. Those in attendance are Diane Cullen, Melissa Scorsese,
Joe Pizzetti.
Brian Pizzetti.
Audrey Flanagan, Dory Jameson, and in the audience we have two of our caretakers, Maddie and Roger. Okay, first item on the agenda is discussion on policies and procedures. Has anybody had a chance to look at them, add things that they wanted to add, take out anything they wanted to take out, and then we will submit them to town council for final approval once everybody sees the final copy of what will be sent out. Anyone want to speak on this?
Sure, I can start. I went through them and just being an outsider looking in, I just felt like there were some holes in some of the things.
There are. Indeed.
The mission was good. The organization, that's all. Pretty straightforward. The one thing I noticed is the role of the commission doesn't take into anything about, the building and the property of Camp Kawani or providing recreation.
I think we have to put something in there about recreation, providing that within the confines of Camp Kawani, because what I didn't want to do is venture outside of Camp Kawani, because that really is a recreation department that the town should be looking into establishing. The other thing is that maintaining the grounds, I think we really need to be specific on that, because if we're too general, I feel like it could end up all-encompassing when, truthfully, some of the things are really the town's responsibility rather than just this commission. For example, like what we're doing down, hopefully, at the Cove.
Right.
So I was looking for how people wanted to word that.
Yeah. Because I know we're responsible for this building.
We are.
The oversight of this building and the maintenance of the facilities on this building. I mean, everybody takes a little bit of a role, like, this building's on the historic register, so the historic commission,
Is a part.
is a part of this, and, the roads are the highway and the,
Right. Yeah, that's why I was wondering if there's, something like
conservation and
in
stuff.
conjunction with,
Yeah.
other town boards such as blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So what do you guys think of that?
Okay, let's start with page 1. What you get that? You said commission is okay, the organization.
We're at the role of the commission, it's
On
the
page
start of page 2.
You need the role of the board.
It says the role of the commission.
Role of the commission. That's not on page 2. The last one that went out.
This is the one that Dory sent with all the different colors in it.
The role of the board is on page 1. Then it goes to commission ethics, then it goes to organization of commission. Go to this other one. That was the one.
I thought we were operating off the one Brian
Right.
had last,
Yep.
the last one we had submitted.
The role of the commission is responsible for setting policies, procedures, next.
Joan, do you want to look at this one? I printed this one out in color. It doesn't follow the one that Dory sent because I made it so that things started fresh on the page.
It's down there, it's the same thing, what's on here on page 1, the role of the commission.
Right here.
This is what you're talking about, right here.
Yeah.
Top of
Yeah.
page 2.
Top of page
That
2.
copy with the bottom line of page
Oh,
1.
yeah.
Okay.
I think it depends on what version of Word you open this in because
Right.
the version I had a ton of double spacing and things like that. Things went on to the second page that probably shouldn't have, so.
Okay, so what you wanted to do is to add something to the role of the commission?
We need to add that one of our responsibilities is to provide recreation to the people of Hanson and the surrounding areas within the confines of Camp Kawani.
Yeah, but under your mission up top, like
But that's your mission statement, you don't have it as a role of the commission.
That's the duty, that, when it was voted on by the town, that's not only our mission, that's our job assigned by the town of Hanson back in 1990. It's
Right,
not really even kind of a mission, that's what we have to do.
right. So,
But it's already included in the mission.
right,
So then it should be repeated in the role.
I think it's just a
Yeah.
matter of repeating it.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I'm okay with that. I just wanted the other statement to say something like in conjunction with the town of Hanson and other boards in the town of Hanson or something, that our responsibility is to maintain the lodge and the grounds of the camp and all structures and facilities thereof.
okay. And then, I know that the rec director is in here a lot, but we don't have one, and there's no real future in having one right now, so we should probably strike that or add the guidance to the rec director, caretakers, and the AA.
Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Because I'm not sure we can take it out only because it's still aligned in our budget.
Got labor concerns
You
here.
can,
Right.
you always
And job
look for us.
descriptions.
The wage and personnel wants to go through that whole listing and change everything, get rid of whatever we're not gonna use. We're never gonna have a full-time caretaker, that's a line that can be taken out.
Right.
So, I mean, that would be the additional things, but then Joe Weeks was talking about having a meeting with the different committees to make sure that everybody's, whatever we have,
Correct.
in the right wage range,
Yeah.
range is correct, because ours, they're all screwed up to begin with. And
Yeah.
ours, and as far as the code goes, those rates were much higher than what's already been listed in there, the minimum wage, so.
So I think for now, we have to leave the rec director, but maybe we could put a statement in there that says,
Leave it in
Brian,
red, leave it in red and put parentheses.
Brian, go ahead.
Well, there's actually two things with this whole thing that has to really be gone through again. One is the rec director, that's easy enough, just put a parentheses next to it if position is filled,
Right,
and that takes care of that.
Right.
But there were a lot of things that when Lon was here, she took control of, because we had no
right.
recreation, but if you look at the AA's union contract,
Job description,
a
right.
lot of that kind of intertwines with the rec director, which really shouldn't. So she's kind of taking on responsibilities that are outside
But
purview.
I understand that, but we went through that at the beginning of the year, and you've talked to your union about it, and you're being compensated for some of those skills, right, for some of those things, which is how that whole thing operates. I think we just need to spell that out in the policies and procedures. So if there is no rec director hired at that specific time, specific duties at the discretion of the commission will be filled by the administrative assistant and compensated for as dictated by union contract.
Right, and
So-
it's already been put up for the union.
Hi, Fran. Yeah.
Just nobody wants to go into that battle. Brian, sorry.
No,
Yeah.
you just take.
But yeah, so if you add something, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, so can we do
Okay,
that?
yeah, we can have
Okay.
that, yep. I think that the commission ethics, Frank, I made a copy of this if you want to, we're working on the policy and procedure.
Okay.
This is a little out of order because I printed that today at work, I added our logo to it. But we're on, it's double-sided too. We'll pass that.
Okay, where are we on?
Commission ethics.
Page 2.
Page 2?
Well, I pushed everything so it started on the fresh pages and didn't wrap. Okay, so I think all of that looked all good in the organization of the commission and the responsibilities of the chairman. I did notice, organization of the commission, you don't have in here that there should be a secretary. And that's required by town hall, so we need to add that in there. Responsibilities of the chair. I looked at this a while ago. Coordinate with the meeting, serve as spokesperson of the commission.
You were in.
But I just think it's not written in there. I think it was stated by the town administrator that we needed one. I guess it's not in the paperwork though. Excuse me.
I have a note here for department head and employees. I don't know if I put that there because would it be the chairman's responsibility to hire employees? I don't remember why I put that.
They
note
said
there,
it is
but-
the chairperson's responsibility with the town administrator to
Okay.
hire employees for the camp.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Is what,
It's, the town administrator's job is to
recommend.
recommend, but generally two members of the commission are supposed to come in with the town administrator, do the interviews, then with the town administrator make a decision on who they're going to recommend, then it's supposed to come back to the commission for a full vote of the commission.
With a reporting of how the interviews went, why they're hiring certain people.
Okay. Okay. So down under the responsibilities of all commission members, this is in a different color, and it's black and white, I can only tell it's a different color because it's shaded, but the teams will work in conjunction with the rec director, co-director, and administrative assistant as needed. Shouldn't that caretakers be in there as well?
I'm sorry, could you say it again, please?
The teams will work in conjunction with the recreation director, co-director, and administrative assistant as needed. Shouldn't the caretakers be in there as well?
Yes, as long as needed is in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
The reason why it wasn't is because, from what I understood, this went back and forth with legal and everything else. Your rec director, your AA, and your beach director are, I guess, employees, whereas your department heads.
Mhm.
And it's their job to hand down the assignments. At that time, it was your job to hand down the assignments to say, the caretakers, and then you spread out from there. So that was more or less who was doing all the work, not who was doing the work.
But we don't have a rec director.
Right, but that.
Right, and again, that parentheses statement should be there.
Yeah, that's fine.
You
And we
know,
can change, we can make it head caretaker, so
Right,
that it would be
absolutely.
Maddie, not caretaker, as Maddie would be the one now to distribute the work.
Right.
Yeah.
and should we have any other head caretakers or anything?
Yeah, yeah. Why don't you have merchandising? You guys have it as teams as follows, but you crossed it off. Is there a reason? I was just curious.
Just because we didn't have money to put forth any upfront cost for merchandising, and the store has sort of been turned into a storage shed and everything, so.
Yep. Under finances, let me see, the budget process begins in December for the next fiscal year. The rec director, wouldn't that be Dory now?
The director slap or AA,
Okay.
you know.
Under program policies and procedures, under programming goals, number 3,
That's
staff, it says all instructors, directors, employees, and volunteers, including commissioners, must be Cory checked annually. Volunteers may be subject to Cory in compliance with the town policies. Appropriate staffing must always be in consideration in running a program with the staff, blah, 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 blah. Who manages the Cory forms?
the town has a board. The town, you have to go to the town hall.
So that's not indicated here. So that should be, what is the process for that? How does somebody, like,
You have to come in, you have to give a copy of your license,
but go to who? Town clerk?
and it
or-
goes to the town clerk.
No, it actually goes to the town administrator.
Town
Yeah, and they're Cory authorized.
So we would hire, we would get all the information, bring it up to the town administrator's office, who they're Cory authorized, and they can do the Cory check and then let us know.
Okay. So the town administrator would do that, but who manages, who's been Cory checked?
We do when we hire
Everybody
people,
is.
whoever's running the event,
Yeah.
or who's ever hiring people. We select all the Cory forms, right?
Right.
And then we bring them out there for them to implement.
Okay, but what
Usually
about
in
like
batch.
when we're running stuff, like the movie night and that kind of stuff, like the Halloween party, who's in
says-
charge of that?
I think volunteers would,
On the volunteer form at town hall, it has you fill out the story form, and you bring it into the door,
Yeah.
the door goes into the town hall.
Okay, but that expires in 1 year, so who's keeping up with it every year?
From what I understood, they were trying to extend so the Corys wouldn't be done every year, but the town hall does the Corys every year.
and I think
On
they,
those that are
I
necessary.
know the school day extended them for 2.
Two?
Yeah.
All right, I'll get more.
I don't know if the
Well, that
town,
one's tight only because we've got 3 town administrators, so we haven't really.
we haven't received any guidance.
Right.
Right, and I don't know if they've also changed it because of COVID. So,
Can you legally Cory check commissioners? Just because it's, I don't know if that you can, right? So
You
they
must.
should, you
They
have
have
to.
to. You must.
So
They
when
have
we-
to.
when we signed up, so when we go through the whole thing, that's when we do the Cory check for us, right? Okay.
In line with what the school systems are doing, since it's children primarily, so whatever their processes will follow the same. I don't know what the schools are.
Yeah, schools are doing, right now, they're every 2 years, I know that. They
Right.
keep it on file for every 2 years.
I would think there would be more in line with that.
Okay. Number 5, in the possession of alcohol, there's a line here that says, no alcohol shall be consumed on the grounds of the property unless approved by the Recreation Commission, and it's actually the Board of Selectmen that approves that permit, not us. So I don't think that line should be in here.
Well, they approve the use of alcohol on the camp, but we can approve different places where a bar service can be.
Right, I get that, but this is kind of misleading.
It is, it's
Saying
like
that
saying-
you can't drink on here unless the commission says that you can.
right, I can't sit in the north end and
Right,
fire
right.
and booze it out.
Right,
Unless
yeah.
you have our cane, that's not the case.
Exactly.
Right,
So I just think that line needs to be reworded.
it has to be clarified.
Yeah.
There were some of the lines that jumped around also where it might be, and I don't know, because I don't have it in front of me, I haven't said it. There's things that say there are only specific places you can drink, and I thought that was in policies and procedures, like such as here. and-
I thought it was outlined
This
in
one
there.
So it says here, alcohol is prohibited in all areas except the lodge, patio, and areas designated by the Recreation Commission.
Yeah, it's too broad.
Yeah, but I thought one specifically said 3 places, the porch, inside, and, I don't know what they call it, pine grove or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they say
Pine
it's
Grove.
I thought that was in there.
Except approved by the commission, the lodge, pavilion, pine grove.
Right.
And then individuals listed are requiring, contracted bar service.
But that's only for events, right? If you're renting a cabin.
Right, if you're renting cabins,
Right.
unless you rented the pavilion, then that's misleading.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like saying, oh, the Boy Scouts are going to use the pavilion, the adults can drink. No. You know, it would be for a specific type of event.
Well, other than the bar service, it's supposed to be a dry can. Not supposed to go to the south end.
Right.
Not supposed to.
That's why.
Yeah, so I think this line needs to be rewritten to include the bar service and include the permits and include the areas where you're allowed.
And maybe we should outline the, because I think we were going to consider, were we going to consider changing how that whole permit process went? Oh, that was for catering, I'm sorry. So for the bar, you know, I think we should outline it in there.
Yeah.
And that does fall under policies, right?
This is under recreational program, so I would imagine this is like if UMass came in and they wanted to have, alcohol at their weekend.
It's under programs, I'd like to reiterate it again.
Yeah,
Um,
it might be, if you go on, it might be under, event policies,
Yeah,
so. Under disciplinary code, there's, procedures on adult and children who don't adhere to the rules. First offense being a verbal warning, second offense, third offense. Who manages that?
Right.
Like, what is that, like, why
And-
are we involved in somebody else's programming and how they discipline?
well, I think when that was put in, it was as old as when the town was assuming programming here.
Okay,
So we can strike that and make more of a general statement that disciplinary procedures are up to, depending on the program being run.
right, okay, all right. Okay.
You might want to add something in there too that says if the program is being run by the camp, then this is like the process of it, I would imagine, because if we do want to get back to a place where we are running
Yeah.
programs here at the camp too, we might want to still have this in there.
Okay.
And it will be different for each type of program you run.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
So,
What's the age appropriate timeout for an adult?
Yeah. Under program and event policies, under general on page 7, about halfway down the page, it says, subject to final approval by the Board of Selectmen and Recreation, may approve refunds. What refunds?
if somebody, signed up for something or somebody, and then they, sorry, go ahead.
It does state in here, that provided that by Camp Horn did not satisfy the terms of the agreement.
But what's being refunded? That would be if somebody signed up and paid for something? That's okay. I just wasn't sure what that refund
For
was.
if we ran the Halloween event and then it got rained out and we didn't have another event, we would have to refund
Gotcha, okay, so it's an event refund.
events, or like if we couldn't run a camp because the roof fell in or something. I know, I'm right, don't say, I just thought of that. I was like, oh, I guess you should shut up.
No member of any town board, committee, or commission, town employee may utilize camp staff or Camp Quaney asset for personal use without paying the established fees approved by the Recreation Commission and the Board of Selectmen.
Yes.
Okay, because the Board of Selectmen's not in there. And then we talked about the service animals already, so we can't ask, we need to just put in there, because it says that providing proper documentation to allow a service animal, and that's, as we know, illegal. So we
Right,
have to
yeah.
put in the Massachusetts.
That's been updated.
Yeah, law.
Yep.
What about comfort animals? Is that like a protected class of animal? I
Yeah,
understand
now
service and comfort is a protected.
Yep.
Well, I have to sign out front that doesn't allow comfort animals in the building.
Doesn't matter. I think the state law supersedes this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying, it's weird how they have that sign. I mean, we gotta have a comfort ostrich in here.
I mean,
Maybe someday.
That's weird.
if you can control
I'm
it.
all for it, I'm an animal lover, so my dog comes with me everywhere I go.
It's regular. Oh, Poland.
Then it says, caretaker, so this is page 8, we're still under the same, general. Caretakers and/or staff, administrative assistant, or recreation director shall be on location for the duration of all events for safety and, security purposes. Couldn't the commission member stand in as one of those as well, or consider?
Yeah, we can add that.
Okay.
You can add it, let me just make a lot of clarity on that statement. It's supposed to be any time a rental is done, which is, I don't know what's gonna happen with this one. Might want to talk to the TA about it, because the old TA said that as long as you're renting out to be self-evident overnight, they want a caretaker on this property, or somebody
Well, I think we need to clarify all events.
Yeah.
It's in there as well.
Right, all events that are taking place in the main lodge, or we say something like with the exception of overnight camping, or,
That got found by legal. I think legal wanted someone here at all times, so if you have a wedding and they rent the South End at night,
they want someone
they
here.
want someone, I know our table was.
Well, you can't get blood from a stone, I'm
No,
sorry.
I agree, but I'm just saying.
You know, it's not feasible at this time, and, I mean, I think that we need to put it in there, and then let town council look at it, and if that becomes a problem, to me, that's a problem for the Board of Selectmen. So, I think we can add commission members to that statement, and I think we need to clarify all events.
Okay. During designated holidays, Camp Quaney will be closed. Do we have a list of the holidays that were closed? We should list that.
That was changed too. We had agreed that we had asked the caretakers if they would work any holidays, and I think it was just Christmas. And there was one other one that we decided that would be completely no-go, that we wouldn't be open.
Yeah, Christmas, Thanksgiving.
No, we did do except for Thanksgiving, because different ones, because if a family or somebody
Oh,
wanted
wanted to have their dinner.
Right,
That's right.
The caretakers did agree to that, and there's only one other one, I can't remember which other one.
I mean, we could put in there unless, you know, like, we could put the exception of availability of staff.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, because I know we had agreed to that. And I think we was charged on extra, we had agreed upon, I think, a $500
And
extra charge.
Brian Smith?
Is that something we discussed as far as, you know, what we're charging? You know, you want all this here.
Right, I was just gonna say.
Never mind the caretakers, they're not security people. But if you price everything accordingly, and trust me, you'll still be well under what
Everybody else is
everybody
right.
else in this region is on Plymouth. You hire that security guard. And it takes the onus off caretakers who aren't, they're not geared to that.
I agree, and that's something we should look into,
Yeah.
is like hiring, subcontracting out a security
For the overnight
on an
function.
as-needed basis. And if, especially if town council, you know, suggests that they really want someone here. But again, this is all gonna play into when we approach the Board of Selectmen to raise rates. So,
I mean,
and we're getting to that portion of this.
I
Yeah,
mean, we're renting the whole south end, the north end, and it's like buying. We can't have that another $100 or $200
Yeah.
for security.
Yeah.
It's not like we're making money off it.
Right.
right.
I agree.
What are the designated smoking areas again?
Outside the outhouse, low park.
No, so
That's
Outside
right.
the firehouse, no
Yeah.
parking lot.
Under all event, the vendor services need to pay a minimum of Camp Quaney costs and services provided for their program. At minimum, the caretaker salary must be paid for all events. In worst case, the vendors, the agreement, percentage or caretaker salary, whatever, the greater the amount. Who manages that? Who manages that cost, like when it's needed and
That would be
how much it should be?
It would go through Dory and it would happen when you sign the contract.
The contract, so that's at the contract negotiation, that's
Yes.
not necessarily, okay.
And we can put in there to be determined during contract negotiation.
Yep. Then just at the military deployment, that's all good, except for the end should say, this requires a vote from Recreation Commission to get a refund, you know, for the refund.
Do we need to do that with the Board of Selectmen too?
Yeah, there should be.
Yeah, Board of
The Board of
Selectmen.
Selectmen?
Yeah.
Okay. Pembroke Cove, your number one thing is that, you know, swimming is prohibited without a lifeguard, and we should add unless posted, because for the last 2 years, we've done swimming Without a
Unless
lifeguard.
otherwise posted. You know?
Add our little parentheses.
Why wouldn't we just put in there, just swimming at your own risk?
Yeah, like unless it's documented for
Yeah.
swimming your own risk.
So like, why wouldn't you just do swimming, in the use of Cranberry Cove is swim at your own risk,
Yeah.
and then kind of strike the whole lifeguard out of there,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it kind of puts us on there as, you know, you're there, you can swim at your own risk, and you may or may not have a lifeguard there, but this kind of covers it.
Yeah. Number 4 on here, pets are allowed with the exception of documented. We need to strike that documented.
We don't need documented, right?
Yep.
Sorry. What number you want on?
Number 5, Cranberry Cove is available for use only when a pass has been purchased, money is paid to the gatekeeper, or staying overnight in camp. Free cove passes are included in overnight rentals. Free cove passes are not provided with hourly cabin rentals, lodge, pavilion. And again, that should be unless posted.
Right, because unless posted.
Right.
Yep, so we can add that, but on number 6, we need to specify small children.
What age?
Under 5?
Yeah, what age is that? I don't know, so far removed from.
Well, I mean, you know, you send a kindergarten to the bathroom by themselves,
Yeah.
so under the age of, 5 and up.
Okay.
That's probably a good age.
Okay. No running allowed at the docks at Cranberry Cove or the lodge. There are no docks at the lodge, so we should strike that.
There aren't. Allowed on the docks at Cranberry Cove or in the main, if you just add the word in, or in the main lodge.
Well, it's docks, running on
There
the
are
docks.
docks at Cranberry Cove.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't need
Yeah, we
docks.
don't have.
I mean the lodge, sorry.
Mhm.
Right.
My next update is on 18. The beach may not be opened or closed during non-scheduled hours by anyone except at the discretion of the Hanson Police Department, Fire Board, Health, Rec Commission. For any reasons concerning public safety, the beach director and caretaker will have the authority to close the beach under the conditions listed online. What is online? The beach has the authority to close the beach under the conditions listed online. And who updates that? Like, what is that?
First off, online should be one word.
Right.
And
Is that
I think that's the updated Facebook page with cold hours and weather conditions,
It
where you
says
make
under
the
the
announcement.
beach conditions listed online. So what are the beach conditions? Like, what does that mean?
It's,
There'll be
yeah,
thunder, lightning.
beach/weather. It should be
Okay.
beach/weather.
So, once we're done with 19, can we go back?
Yeah.
Onto 9.
Mm-hmm.
So, no flotation devices are allowed in the water unless required by the ADA.
ADA.
So,
So,
I think for kids under the age of like 7, they should probably be allowed to wear floaties unless there's another reason for it.
No.
We won't allow them. The lifeguards won't allow them. It's in their.
it's in their
Okay, so
contract.
the lifeguards will allow it.
It's not the lifeguards, it's the training. Like, we're ADA certified lifeguards.
We're Red
and
Cross
the ADA, yeah, the Red Cross, they
Right.
Red Cross, and the Red Cross will not allow that with the
Because,
lifeguards.
and the reason for that,
Coast Guard approved.
life jackets have to be Coast Guard approved if you're using them when you rent the kayaks.
Right.
You have to have Coast Guard approved safety
So does
jackets.
ADA include,
ADA means, like, for example, if you have an autistic child that's swimming down the beach, they can use the floaty because they fall under the ADA Act.
okay,
But, I should just say the ADA Act, the ADA Act. But the reason they don't want everybody else wearing flotation devices is because, for one, they might not always be put on properly. That creates more work for the lifeguards. Number 2 is, in the past, parents have relied on the flotation device to sort of babysit their child.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they can get in the way of other kids, like if they're too big, they can't see the child underneath it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking like, the circle things, I was thinking more of like, you know, how they have
Yeah.
the puff jump.
Yeah.
But they have, like,
Yeah.
even the regular ones where they have the arms on, even those ones anymore, it's like it's like a life vest, but with the arms on there too.
Right.
So, okay.
But once you open it up to flotation devices, then you have to change it every single time the new type comes out.
Makes sense.
They got pushback, even with those rules, we get pushback when we did have lifeguards there. Why can't I use my lifeguard?
No, you can't.
Why
Oh,
can't I
yeah.
use this? Why can't I
All the
use
time.
this?
Too bad.
Can't I? It's crazy.
People don't want to hear the
You
word.
know, on the flip side too, like with the lifeguards, they get like a little lazy watching the kids if they've all got flotation devices on, you know, they're not, you know.
Well, right, I mean, it's something that, you know, everybody does, but once you allow them,
Yeah.
I think it becomes incumbent upon us to make sure they're put on properly, and that's a lot of extra work, so we just don't know.
Did you want? Yeah, number 21, it should say posted on the Camp County website and Facebook page.
Okay,
And it should be Cranberry Cove Facebook page.
all right, Cranberry Cove. And who manages that?
I mean,
Unfortunately.
Can we just go back to 18? I'm still confused about this online. So the weather conditions are listed online. Is there a page that says what we close for?
No, that should probably be listed on there.
Okay, so that we need to know what the conditions are.
Right, so it would be prolonged rain or a forecast of thunder and lightning,
Yep.
temperature drops, and another thing I think, and I'm gonna have you chime in on this, Maddie, in just a moment. Did you have your hand up?
All I would say is, I read an old one, we were at 219s.
Yeah, oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah, I just don't want to remember.
I think we need to leave a statement in there also that, and this, I would like to hear people's opinion on this. Something like that, only because if there's one or two people down at the beach and we're paying a lifeguard $18 an hour to be down there for two people, sometimes I think, you know, I mean, listen, I'm all for it, but we really do need to consider the budget at some point.
Yeah, I just feel like if we do that, I feel like if we don't have a reason other than there's nobody down there, that it's gonna be, you know, be like, oh, our hours are Monday through Friday, you know, whatever time, but then we close it, and somebody goes there, and they complain about it, and then it just becomes like a whole
Right,
thing.
they're still
So-
paying. You
Yeah,
know, it's
so
not
I
their
think-
fault that nobody showed up.
Right.
can't we just say it's swim at your own risk?
Well, that's one of the things too, is the swim at your own risk, unless, I mean, if we don't hire a lifeguard, right, then swim at your own risk. I didn't even heard was there any craziness that happened in the past 2 years with swim at your own risk on the Cove? I mean, was there any?
No, there hasn't been craziness, but what there has been is not as much of a family-friendly atmosphere is what I'll say. People are swearing and leaving trash and just exhibiting kind of inappropriate behavior, I'll say.
So, would it be,
And I think we do need to add something in there that you can be asked to leave the beach at the discretion of the lifeguard or the beach director, who's ever on, and things like that. You know, crude language is prohibited.
Yeah, the rules are posted.
Yes, but they're not updated.
Yeah.
And
can you have a caretaker down there? I wouldn't say, I'm not gonna say patrolling the beach, but checking in on the beach every so often without having it be like a liability to us that there's somebody down there, like, you know.
the liability is if you are, if you put staff down there, then it's our liability.
So, but for how long do you have to put staff? I mean, obviously it's gonna be staff down there throughout the day if there's like, you know, taking trash out or something like that, or somebody says.
But if you
bathroom.
have somebody posted there and you open the bathrooms,
when there are lifeguards down there, they are keeping track of what's,
They are.
on the beach. It's when it's swim at your own risk that it's,
Yeah. That it's a free-for-all, and I'm not saying it's been a free-for-all, but I am saying that people bring their dogs on the beach during the day, and just the other incidences that I mentioned, the other behaviors, so. Is that something you think we should put in?
yeah, I do.
I mean, you think
yeah.
of the common sense,
There's no-
no swearing.
Common
Kids.
sense is not common. Okay? The world, I don't care if I'm on camera saying it, the world's getting down on people.
Maybe you could put the beach movie patrol sporadically to prevent any anti-safety measures or unsafe measures happening.
I mean, we should be doing that anyway, right? Like, I mean, if the beach is open and a caretaker's around there, right, the caretaker should swing and just make sure there's no dogs on the beach or, kids.
Yeah, I think the lifeguards typically take ownership of that when we have, and if we don't have it staffed, then a caretaker can,
Yeah, I'm just playing that we don't have lifeguards there because, the way that the budget's going, we probably won't have one next year. So, I mean, that could be the case. I'm just playing if we don't have one there, right? But then we should make it so the caretakers can go down there once, an hour or something like that, just to make sure nobody's doing anything crazy.
Yeah, and I think we definitely need to have the rules posted, and I do think they do need to include, language, smoking, trash, and otherwise crude behavior, at the discretion of Camp Kawani staff.
Yeah, make it general with staff and
Yeah.
not particular.
Exactly, we're not going to say a rule, we're just going to say staff.
Any one of us could see it.
Right, and have the authority to point it out, and as long as it's on a sign somewhere, and again, that gets back
They
to the
are
sign.
posted. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I know smoking and language and drinking and dogs, like I know all of that is already on the sign that's posted. It's been a while since I've looked at it, but
That big sign?
yeah.
Is that even there anymore? That was taken down a few years back, I don't think it was ever put up.
Yeah, pre-COVID, I think they'll took them all down.
Right, they were supposed to be replaced,
Right.
but
Okay.
that never happened.
All right, we'll add it to our sign list.
There's a big sign that has a list of staff members, not knowing what the hours are on it, the hours are on it.
It's not, but it's not that big.
You know, but it's there.
It is.
big, yeah.
Yeah, it's not, I remember the one you're speaking
Yeah.
about. The one that's down there now is just not that big. It's not grabbing anybody's attention because unless it's flashing in front of your face or on an electronic screen, people don't notice it.
I'm just saying you guys are considering it's not close, like it's on there, it's just small.
Yeah.
It's there, so you don't
Right.
have the ability to say it's on the sign.
It's on the sign, learn to read.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just dropped down to number 25, a paid staff member must be present on the grounds for all events and functions, and I think this should also include commission number.
A paid staff or,
commission number.
yep, all code staff must use the uniform time clock.
Yeah, what is that?
That's the punch. What's a uniform time clock?
Uniform time is not,
That was
Like UTC.
worded that way because at one point, half the staff was signing and the other half the staff was using the time clock. So
Right.
it was a uniform.
oh, I see.
Remember?
Two different things going on. And we spent a lot of money on the time clock. And it was also part of our budget.
Don't we just
We
have,
had electronic device.
We do.
don't we have one system now that does it? Like,
Yes.
Is everybody using it now, Tori? I don't know.
But the code
No.
doesn't have.
Not yet, actually. We just need a little bit more information from Play Along on that.
Yeah, and we don't have everyone, only one person left to put in.
Yeah, we just have one person left to put in, so.
That was something that was supposed to happen.
And
yeah.
this is in particular for the code, so
The
we
code
may,
has a separate.
It did,
Oh, okay.
but that was something running on, it was an online, real-time
Oh.
thing run by,
Yeah,
It was an app. it was an app.
So is the system that we have right now, that will be used by the code? Like,
Well,
that's also,
that's something we would have to decide because it was brought up that to have the lifeguards, they would have to drive up, punch in, drive back down. They thought, it was a little bit cumbersome to that, and I know.
Well, that's an audit standpoint. I mean, if they have to drive up and punch in, I mean, we were tasked to do that.
Make it better than this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, so I mean, I think it should be one system regardless of where it is, that we shouldn't be managing two different time clocks for the same
yeah,
people that
just
we
asking for.
So I mean, this should just be, must use the
Located in the main launch.
the time clock, what's Maddie's gonna.
No, I was gonna say, if it's, that time clock sends to a system in the computer, like a program, then there's not the ability to have two time clocks that send to the same system, so they can just send along the code.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, because if it's after hours, then they're gonna need access codes to get to come in.
Trying to get there at weddings and trying to punch in through all the, I feel like that's gonna be a hassle for them.
Yeah,
Does
right.
this system not have an app, the new system with the flight alarm, does that not have an app that you can sign in with, or clock in with?
That would be great, because then you can just sign in from your phone.
Right.
Yeah,
For
but
each
you-
person, you mean?
So for example, like if I was a lifeguard and I was down, like, oh, it's my time to clock out, I'll just use an app on my phone and say, okay. I'm clocking
Instead of walking up here to the middle of the wedding.
Yeah, because you don't have the infrastructure down there.
Right.
To do that right now. Right, it has to be an app.
Okay, so right now,
Right now, it's your finger.
it's your finger.
Yeah.
It goes to a program on the computer. So I don't know if there's an app capability, but yeah, it sends directly to that computer.
I think we're gonna have to take that on as, I think the beach director, whoever, if we are hopefully going to have one, needs to build that into the program prices and process, exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna have lifeguard, 6 days a week or something like that, right? You understand it's a pain in the ass to come up here on a Saturday night when there's a wedding, but for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it shouldn't be that big of a deal to come up here, drive, skate, fingerprint.
Right, but in the end,
So
it's,
Dory's gone at 2,
Right.
they're gonna need a code access for the front door and to know how to shut the alarm off, to do their punch, and then reset the alarm and leave, and then you've got even more people with code access to this building.
I think it just makes more sense, given today's technology, that we have an
I
app.
know.
Will we ever get Wi-Fi even now? Has that ever been done? I mean, I know that was in the discussion.
You could, so technologically, there's no reason why you couldn't do it. I mean, you could have Wi-Fi.
We have, Xfinity here now.
Well, I mean, so what you would do is you would take the current existing here and you would just run cable. You essentially run a conduit down there with
Yeah, overhead.
long, you could be underground overhead, whichever one. But, I mean, you could do it, yeah. You could definitely do it. It would be expensive.
Right, and there's the rub.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, yeah. So you can do it. I mean,
I don't know why that wasn't included in this project. Because they brought it up here, they brought data feeder here. Why was that included?
For the code, probably because the code really has no reason to need Wi-Fi. I mean, really, the office is just used for the kids to store their stuff and.
But just for these reasons here?
Right, there is reason
Exist
now.
back then.
I mean, is
you know?
there no service down at the Grove?
No, you can get,
Yeah, but a year
get
after this
service.
project took place, and then that was discussed, we discussed it, and all of a sudden it died.
I mean, if I was here and the town was paying for it, it'd be Wi-Fi in the core.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's convenient, right? I mean, people, they have weddings here, they want to post to Instagram, they want to post to Snap, like, they want to do
I
this
mean,
stuff.
they were trenching out here for this building.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what happened.
I mean, there's no technological reason we couldn't do it. I mean, they have systems out there.
Do we still have an IT director that we share?
Yeah.
No, new full-time one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's excellent.
So maybe you
Yeah, I've
can
been letting him try to wet his feet a little bit town hall before I jump in.
attack. Why was that even?
I think an app was used before, and Matthew might know, she's talking to him back then. I think the problem back then was we had to be, I think there was a laptop down there,
There was,
but if you were like,
It's a big
on the
bag.
main road, you could like punch in and keep on grabbing. You usually have to be within a certain proximity of wherever you punch in. I know there's a couple of businesses I know that had that problem where people weren't working, but they punched in from the parking lot next door. You have to split everything.
I mean, most of the apps that I timekeeping apps, once you punch in, they take your GPS coordinates right there.
Yeah.
And they will essentially ship that with your time card. So you punch in at 3:30 at this GPS location, it'll go right into where they were. I just feel like we should, I mean, I don't know, I'm spending so much time on this, but I just feel like we should be, if we're gonna have an app, we should have an app for everybody. You know, I just think everybody should have an app. I don't know if that's the system that we have right now from the flight alarm, the one that we just put in, has an app for it, but if they do, then we should just use that across the board, so nobody has to come to the lodge if they don't have to.
I looked at the app with Maddie online, we were trying to figure some stuff out, and it looks like an old system.
It's called time tracks.
Yeah, it doesn't look.
There are a
We
lot
had
of,
this for a while, it's just someone found this, I think, and just gave it to us, like, I think before Dory was here. They originally installed it in the office, and then used it for a little while, and then COVID hit, and that's where we dropped off and stopped using it. But this wasn't like someone, we bought this brand new and put it in the lodge, like, this was an old system that they were like, oh, cool, it's a free time clock. And we put it in the-
Right.
So it's probably pretty outdated.
It's very outdated.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Time tracks. T-I-M-T-R, yeah, it's an X at the end.
He's got it.
Tracks.
You just gotta try to standardize on it. And if our system integrates with that, like, if we have any integration with any of the systems that we have at the camp, that'd be even better. But if not, then.
Well, we have Google Calendar, we use Google Calendar, Maddie uses Google Calendar for scheduling and
okay,
for events and all that stuff.
So-
There has to be some type of.
do we want to just, put that they must use an established,
Yeah.
no, that's okay, no, I'm just trying to move the meeting.
Time clocks.
All right,
Okay,
okay,
so, cove deposits must be made daily to the lodge overnight in a safe.
right.
When is that done? At night? When it's at night, like when you're not here? Who takes the cove money at night and puts it in the safe?
If we had COVID money, since I.
The cash box, they have a cash box.
There's a
There's
cash
a
box.
cash box, so I was just curious, like, who does that?
It's the beach director.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's the beach director.
okay, so they have access to the,
They would have a key to the office, they would have a code to the lodge, right?
okay, so it's the beach director. Then under the grounds, we do not have anything on here that says do not cut trees. That's like literally on every camping.
And again, right, we didn't think we had to put that, but right,
Yeah.
it's common sense is
Yeah.
not common, so
Yeah.
no hunting,
Well, it
trapping,
says
or
right here,
cutting.
but it says no disturbing, removing, defacing, cutting, or other damage to natural features, signs, barriers, buildings, fire, water, and other property. But it should be pretty explicit to say no cut trees.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We can just add natural features, in parentheses, trees, shrubbery,
Mhm.
okay.
Sliding
Sliding down the hill.
hill.
Sliding, this just seems a little.
Someone get hurt.
Sliding down the hill from behind you is prohibited, the removal of timing.
Something must have happened.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Under rentals on page 12, number 4, the person who registers a group must have a responsible person age 21 or older in each cabin who is responsible for all actions. I don't know if we should just put in here that you must be 21 years of age to rent too, because that's a little bit vague on that. Just saying that there's somebody 21 that has to be in the,
I was gonna go back to something else.
oh,
Okay.
or just add it as a separate line that you must be 21 years to rent a cabin.
There's nothing.
I think,
Yeah. Okay.
I'll put that as like number one.
Yeah.
yes, Maddie.
Sorry, can I back up to grounds?
Yeah.
Yep.
Only 2 questions I have is one, what is quiet time mean? Quiet time is between 10 PM and 7 AM? We have events that end at like midnight. So I don't know if that messes up with whatever quiet time consists of.
No, she's been ground.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think that's for camping.
Okay.
So,
That's a pretty standard hour for.
yeah.
That's fine, I just want to make sure it wasn't events. Because we have to go past that.
I think it's for non-event related camping.
Okay. And then the only other thing I was gonna ask is, where it has the all rentals are notified staff of their arrival, check-in time, stay on the application, there's no agreed should we specify that they know they have to be here within a certain time? 'Cause
We
like, I don't-
absolutely have
I
to do
don't
that.
want like them sitting here till 5 o'clock, we're supposed to be here for 3, now we just pay someone to sit here for 2 hours.
Exactly, and this is the thing, that absolutely has to be adhered to,
Mhm.
because check-in time should be, I mean, it's stated on the application. What is on the application, do we know?
Three o'clock.
3 o'clock.
It's 3?
Check out is 3, yeah.
Okay, check-in
Check out
is
is 11.
at 3.
Right.
Yeah, and
So, I mean, some campgrounds that we go to, check-in is between 1 and 8, let's say, because their office closes at 8.
right, but we don't, our office here closes at 2.
Right.
And again, budget constraints
Mhm.
and having somebody here. So I think we could put something like check-in is at, is 2 to 3 o'clock, because you're off at 2. We can leave a caretaker on for an extra hour, unless otherwise arranged
Yeah.
with camp staff.
Yep.
So,
Is the camping application, you have like an on-site contact, or you have someone to call them, right?
Yes, there's a page.
If they don't show up, the caretaker can always
Yeah,
call or
yeah.
whatever, right? From the application.
Obviously, phone number, email, all that.
but again, you're asking someone to stop what they're doing and come here and,
Aren't they here,
you mean,
the caretaker who's gonna be here when we check in?
right,
That's what I mean,
right, okay,
that person.
okay.
And then this is all under rentals, so, number 6 says, a security deposit of $1,000 is required for renting the lodge area or the entire camp for a function. A 20% security deposit is required for other functions in this area. What
That
does
makes no
mean?
sense.
What does that mean?
Right. Security is required when renting the lodge area or the entire camp for a wedding function?
I know we talked about that before, and the commission had, taken a vote on that and determined that it'd be $1,000 security deposit for a wedding.
Right,
And then if you were having a $400 birthday party,
it's 20%.
it's $200.
Okay.
Yep,
It's
Okay.
$200,
yep.
so not the 20%.
You had, voted $200 for a party
Yeah,
and $1,000.
for a
And
wedding.
if someone's camping, $200,
Right,
unless they're renting the whole campground.
Usually
That is
it's $1,000 for birthday party.
Yeah.
which was more,
Or like renting a cabin, $40, this is
Right.
$1,000.
right,
But we do, even if they are renting a cabin, they require a security deposit,
right.
even if they're renting at $40.
And absolutely,
Yeah,
I guess
because
costs in
you
there.
can have it, you can have
The
it.
cost better not be.
No, I mean, well, when they.
A $50 security deposit must be made upon confirmation of the reserved date. For what? What is that for, $50 security deposit?
50% security will be required when renting the cottage. Which cottage?
Yeah, it should say security deposit, it's 50%
Deposit,
deposit is
okay.
required.
Okay, that makes more sense,
Yeah,
because
right.
they're already talked about deposit.
When renting the
Okay.
bridal cottage, correct?
No, it says, a 50, oh, yeah, so
Number
50%, yeah, renting the
It
cottage.
should be the bridal cottage, right? Or is this
It's just-
considered the only cottage?
It's only cottage.
Okay,
A 50% deposit, we need to strike that security.
Security, right.
Yeah, okay. And then I'm gonna add one for the cabin deposits, because it's not clear that a cabin
is
is
$200.
200. Okay.
Should we get a table in here?
I honestly feel that, I mean, how much is it to rent the cottage, the bridal cottage?
125.
So
Yeah,
we're actually asking for more for a cabin than we are for the cottage, which doesn't make sense.
So,
What was that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
No, I was, right.
Where it says a 50% security deposit must be made upon confirmation of the reserve date, we're asking for a $200 deposit on the rental of a cabin, but we're only asking for 50% of $125 for the bridal cottage.
Or should be 50%?
No, it's a 50% deposit of the payment, right? That's how I read it. So if it's $40 for the night, you require 50% deposit of that $40 when you reserve the date.
Okay, so we're talking about deposit, not security.
Not security deposit.
The
We need to-
security,
yeah.
is there a separate security deposit for the bridal cottage? Since you're separating it for rentals and deposits,
Oh, 50%, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, what is the security deposit for
I'm currently charging $200.
the cottage too?
as well as the cabins.
And the frontier, I would assume?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, that was the only thing I was doing.
Okay.
Sorry if I didn't word it.
Nope, that's good. So we have $1,000 for wedding, $200 for other functions.
$1,000 for all, like the north end or the south end.
Okay, so $1,000 when renting the lodge for a wedding
Yep.
or the entire end,
Right.
camp end. Okay, got it. Renters must ensure all areas used during their stay are in the same condition upon departure on arrival,
That's all
and
right.
in room clean condition, or they, like, there's something
Or they
they forfeit their deposit.
Or they forfeit their security
Yeah,
deposit.
yeah. Okay.
The caretakers check,
No, because some people checkout time can be, some people get up at 6 in the morning and leave, some people, you know what I mean?
One of the things that Maddie and I have been talking about is doing like a checks and balances before and after functions and before and after rentals, because, Maddie can find a cabin completely destroyed and we'll never know about it because, she's just gonna clean it up and be like, this jerk's left, all this stuff, and she's just gonna clean it and go on her merry way. Same with the function, and when there's a problem at a function and things like that, Maddie and I were talking about having like an end of shift sort of walk through, Yeah, like a walk, so that the caretaker that's closing is not gonna, be in communication with the person who opens the next day or whatever, but they can leave something that says they did this, then that information gets back to Dory, which then gets back to us, and then we can review that information when we're giving back the deposit, so that we're not just, the wedding ends, they could have spray painted in here, and Roger came in the next day and cleaned it all up real nice, and, we're still giving them back their deposit, so, I think
with the
that's.
cabins too.
In the cabins, yeah.
We can always take pictures of the cabin.
Right, everybody has a phone, they can take pictures of everything, and it's on the last person that rented it.
Yeah.
It's the way it goes.
Yeah, so, so it's something that Maddie and I are gonna work on in the off-season.
Speaking of cabins, they've been through quite a few weddings this season. Should we be letting people park up in the cabin area with their cars? Is that normal?
Yeah, it also frees up so much parking problems.
I only ask if the tree comes down, it's taking the car with it.
I mean, it could be a situation where they decide they want to go up there and they're taking the risk of taking their car out. But I will tell you, we had a wedding last night, or not last night, this weekend, that our parking lot was so full because they weren't staying in the south end, so that frees up a lot of our parking problems by letting them go to the south end parking advance.
Can we maybe add into that if you do park in the south?
Parking is at your own risk.
Yeah.
Parking on the whole property. should be-
Yeah, there was trees.
It's
Oh,
nothing in
it
there
is,
about,
but
we're not
We're not liable
for
for
any damage to the vehicle.
Fire pits, if you fall down in the car, it's really tight out there. Some of them are scared, yeah, I know what you're talking about this. I came through one of those, no parking anyway.
Okay.
Don't walk off the handicap area with the grills.
Yes, Roger?
Before you get too far ahead, back to the one where somebody has to be 21 to
Rent a cabin.
rent. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I obviously am over 21. I could rent it and leave 6 of my grandkids here and take
Right.
off.
No, it also
It
says
also
somebody
says
has to, it's
someone
just
has
an
to be
additional
present.
line, but it does say that somebody over the age of 21 has to be in the cabin
So you do
at all
have
times.
to-
Yes, in there, yep.
Okay,
Yep.
fine.
Is that pretty standard or is it mostly?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, only because I have a friend got married at 20,
The kid would be 18, I don't know. I was-
You know, and
I might
So
miss that.
18, so 18 to rent, I mean, I don't
Why
know.
not?
I don't know, because it's 21 to rent a car, and
25?
25 to rent a car, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know, I feel like,
Yeah, but it's a shack, this isn't a shack. You're-
I think it was probably established because, I know one of them,
I think-
because of the drinking
I
age.
think
Right,
21.
you know, that's true too, and then you get like kids that are just graduated high school and want to rent out the North End, and that's.
18 is still very
It is,
young.
yeah.
So I just want people's
We'll have to
opinions.
serve in the military.
Yeah.
That was a big word that.
No, I get it, Brian, I really do get it. I mean, you know, I know that's the old adage, you know, you're gonna send him off to war, you can't give him a beer before he goes, I get it.
I'm not worried about the beer, I'm worried about 10 by 10 box.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. So I think, I don't know, when I was 18, I mean, yeah, but we also used to rent places too. We never destroyed them. Right? Most of the time you gotta take the time to go out to a place like a cabin or to a couple of your friends.
Well, if there's a TikTok video out there that says that's a challenge to destroy what you rented overnight, do you think
When I was 18, I bought friends.
you think I'm joking? That was a challenge for the schools. How much vandalism caused the bathrooms in the schools, and we've had to shut them down. This
So when I was 18, we were in tents in the state park, and there was away from families.
Yeah,
They want
right,
us to get
exactly.
So are we ready to keep it at 21 or do you want to lower it to 18? No, stick with her all the time.
I would say 21. I mean, to make it 21 with, unless we want board approval, or commission approval. Like if somebody wants to do it, I don't know.
I think 21 should stay. That's my opinion. I don't know, does anybody else have a different opinion? Okay.
It's not been contested, nobody's come up here, I don't think we
Right.
have like
No.
still people coming up saying I'm 18 and I want to rent a cabin, I can't, so I don't think it's.
Okay.
So we never had a caterer, so, this is the first time we're having that, so, good one. Okay.
Okay, so I'm at number 14, the Recreation Commission has the right to deny any renter that feels is
Not in the best.
best interest of the camp in the town of Hanson. Is there, do we have any sort of list of like past violations?
Well, right, that's what we had talked about.
Yeah.
You know, where we know we have certain renters we don't want to rent to anymore. And, you know, their relatives. And I think we just leave it at, we leave it with the open statement.
Yeah, I don't think we owe anybody an explanation.
No, we don't owe an explanation. Should somebody by some miracle bring some sort of a lawsuit against it, yes, we should be keeping a log, we should be keeping a log with dates and anything that transpired, and we should always be letting the police in on it.
Right.
So
I'm
that's
just wondering
correct.
if there is that past violations, is there, is there a file somewhere that
Well, there's
says-
always a file on a renter, right? There's a renter's file.
Right.
So something could always be attached to the copy of that rental agreement that says, this is what happened during their rental, and then next time. And then, from there, we have a separate file that says, people not to rent it.
Exactly, well, that's what
Right.
I'm looking for, something more, accessible that says, like, a do not rent.
On the naughty list.
Yeah, exactly, all right.
Okay.
Um,
Cash is not accepted for rental of any facility or functions. We really need to be able to take credit cards and debit cards. Yes.
Is there a reason why you don't take cash?
Yeah.
For like a $40 cabin, they just give you $40 and $200 security deposit?
It's because of the town.
Town doesn't want us keeping that kind of money in the safe. They don't want a lot of money in the safe, and it was just something that they had us put in, no cash. I'm sure it had something to do with past actions and missing money.
Because I know they tried to get more cash for the code, remember, one year, because they didn't have enough money to
Okay.
coming in with.
Yeah, they wouldn't even let us have a lot of petty cash down there. Yes.
Can you refuse somebody cash? I didn't even know you could. If someone says, I have cash, and we can leave and say.
We don't take cash.
Because I've taken cash. like.
We are not supposed to take cash.
Yeah, because I turned it over and they don't have a
They
problem
didn't
with
say
it.
a word?
No,
They don't, and.
Yeah, because I asked them, I said,
I think it's- Yeah.
because they're accepting cash now, I think, at town hall.
It makes sense that they wouldn't want it there, but realistically, like, if we're gonna have campers here, they're gonna be buying
21.
firewood, and they're gonna be 21 years old, right? And they're gonna go over, like, we're not gonna ask them a debit card every time we wanna get a bundle of firewood that we have, right? They can give us $5 and they go there.
You should be able to, as long as you have.
I would say like, no,
Yeah,
no.
you have the receipt.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's
extra
over a
extra
certain
amount.
Well, so I would say like, if you wanna rent like the hall,
Yeah,
like you can have cash, but if you wanna go rent the cabin or something.
It's more $40.
Yeah. So like, for anything, I would say anything under like
Turn it
$100.
over with the receipt and they're fine with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, not as a rule, but that does happen.
Brian, isn't it
More than $40 here.
Well, if there's damage to a cabin and you have a debit card on the file,
But you have the $200 deposit too.
How much is the cabin?
Yeah.
cabin is 20, right?
Yeah.
Say they do $1,000 worth of damage and you got a debit card on file, I mean, granted, you got.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but even if you do $1,000 with damage, you would charge the debit card $1,000, just be able to take the security deposit, yeah.
You do, but I mean, $20, I mean, it puts it in their mind that, hey, it's not just.
Hey, they've got my debit card.
Debit
Yeah.
card is potential, you know.
It would be great, yeah, to do it, then people want to give you the debit card.
Yeah, if they want to create.
We don't have the
damage,
capacity to do it, and I don't understand why.
Well, you can't, and we have this issue at work, you can't, unless it's a secure, you can't hold people's card numbers. It's
Yeah.
secure.
And this is going through Unipay, like even if they were paying for something, it's
Yeah.
Unipay, we don't have their card.
Yeah, you can't.
But it
So?
does create the,
Well,
Right.
you know, even though you can't do anything about it.
so let's
they're
put
on
for
file.
now, in this,
Yeah.
for this version of the policies and procedures, let's please put, no cash in for transactions over whatever you want to say, $250. Because they might want firewood or something, you know?
Actually, this kind of covers, it. Now that I read it again, it kind of covers it. It says no rental of any facility or function. So if they did want to buy firewood, you can take cash for that, but this right here is.
But if they, let's say they're here for, 4 nights or 2 nights or Friday night, and like, oh, we want to see Saturday night too.
So you should be able to give an extra $40.
$40 and Dory writes them a receipt and.
I think we need to qualify it,
Yeah.
and quantify it, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we need to put 200 or 200 for whatever you guys decide over that. And, when and if we get the ability to use debit cards, we can just put that in.
But I think it should be paid to the office only, Bill or, whoever out on calling,
Yeah,
on a Tuesday afternoon shouldn't accept cash.
Right.
Who wants to stay an extra couple nights.
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've had it a lot of times, and this weekend I had one where she wanted to pay the linens in cash. She did not have a checkbook. She had to go out on the floor, find somebody that had a checkbook, so she could pay for the linens.
It's terribly inconvenient, it's outdated, and we really do need to bring that up when we raise rates at the Board of Selectmen. Now, we definitely require the use of debit cards because the people that are booking weddings these days are of the generation, there are no more checking accounts with checks like that. Everything's direct deposit, everything's electronic. So it has to be a consideration, and we need to, be up with that. Brian Frazzetti?
Before you take the plunge into the cash thing, I would put an asterisk next to that and really talk to town council about that. Well, the PA, obviously, you might find pushback of us taking cash period. It may come down to it, so I don't know if I try to change this and slide into the scope of things without
Well, I think
absolutely pulling this up. We should be able to take credit cards, debit cards, and all that.
right, and I think we asterisk it anyway,
Yeah.
and then ask about
Yeah.
what she thinks about the $200, $250 limit on cash transactions. And then simply say, this is another reason. I think this goes toward backing us up for the use of credit and debit.
Right, because on the one hand, they're saying you can only take cash or check. And on the other hand, they're saying, well, you really can't take cash.
Right,
So
so-
they can't do. they
And
can't-
checking accounts
Yeah.
are going by the wayside for people.
Yep.
So I think that plays to our favor in the rate
Yeah.
conversation.
I mean, you can pay your real estate taxes and everything online,
Mhm.
and you don't have to use your pay. Use that other app, which puts your checking account number and bank routing number, and it's dirt cheap. It's like
It's 25 cents.
that.
I understand that, but the point is that the 20-something generations don't even know their checking account number, and because they don't write checks. They don't know their phone numbers. Do you know your
I'm
checking
sorry,
account?
but the bank has a capability. to get us.
You don't even have a checking account?
I have checking account, checkbook, I have my debit card.
And you, right, and your debit number is different than your checking account number with a routing number on it. And she's a library science teacher, okay? Like, this is, Brian, I feel you. Okay, but it's, you know, it's for real.
Well, I can imagine, I know my daughters don't know.
You know, it's a true story, I can't, and this is the world we live in.
Yes, they do.
I'm ready to go to bed. Okay, sorry.
You're gonna assign the money to be paid to one specific, administrative assistant only has access to that.
Right. Yep,
You don't-
and no staff other than the administrative assistant should be accepting any payments for any rental facility. That's just the way it goes. It's not under the job description of anybody else.
Right. Then I have like donated use of the facility down on number 5, nonprofits must show proper documentation for discounted services.
Yep.
Can we just make a line that just says copy, attached to the contract, should be kept with the
Sure.
contract at all times?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then this goes on, it's on page 14, under employees. All year-round employees will have an annual review with the rec director and the town administrator. I think we should change
If
rec
the town
director.
administrator is available. Yeah.
Okay,
If we have the right record.
Right.
right, so I think this should be, the rec chair and vice chair, or.
And administrative assistant.
Yeah, and administrative assistant.
And I don't think it should just be for, oh no, it's year round, I see what you're saying. Yep, okay.
Yeah,
I would go with the AA and then, caretaker would write the review and then the review would come to the commission to be looked at. That's what I do. Because usually the department heads do it.
right, so in the case where we don't have a department head, it would be the recreation,
Commission.
it would be the chair, becomes the
Yeah,
department head.
really the power to do that.
It's written in that the
But,
chairman.
and then also the town administrator is it should be HR? Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it should be I think it should be right, I agree that the head caretaker should write reviews.
With the AA.
Yeah, or the AA, and I think that,
For review by the Recreation Commission.
right. But then, how do we do that, like, to avoid talking about employees in an open meeting session?
Right, you can't do that.
Right,
Or
or
the
so,
executive session.
right.
Right, we would go to the executive session.
Right, okay, so then it should be,
For review in
during-
executive session.
for review in executive session.
Right.
Follow by.
So
executive
let's
session rules, so-
Just play this out, Maddie and Dory are gonna write reviews. We're gonna review them in executive session. Are we going to review them in executive session?
There's certain, excuse me.
Yes.
There's certain.
Go ahead, Lori.
That you can meet in executive session, and I don't think that's one of them.
Yeah.
I think reviews need to be in open session. I'm pretty sure, I'll double check on that.
But it
yeah.
should be, that's intimidating. Should it be the entire commission, or should it just be?
I mean, I think it'd be, I don't think we're that intimidating.
If you're,
Maddie's over here.
It depends on your level of
yeah.
comfort and anxiety.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
anxiety.
These are, some people are kids.
so if you guys did the reviews and there was a particular review that was either really good or really bad or really questionable, then I would think that you guys would send it to us and then we would say, okay, you can come in front of the commission if you feel
Something
like
like
it, or
that.
you can do that, right? So like, you know, if you did a really great job, we're just gonna have you come over here and discuss your review with you.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know,
The thing that needs to come to us would be any disciplinary action.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it should just.
Right, we have to trust the people who are put in these positions. Maddie, did you have something you want to say?
I was just gonna say, not that you guys aren't intimidating, but I think that makes it the most intimidating, like having you be public
Yes.
all the time.
Absolutely.
Talking about you as an employee.
I don't like that.
That doesn't have to be like my other town job.
Right.
Stressing out, so every time I'm watching my review.
Right.
Right.
Well, it can be handled like a department.
It is, yeah.
That They're not bringing their stuff from the select, the department that's handling it, goes to the client, it's in.
Right. That's what I said.
So I would trust you guys to do it, if there's a disciplinary action that has to be taken, then it comes to us, then the person decides whether they want to go public or executive session.
Right, then they have the choice, yeah.
I think these reviews should be done at the end of the season too. So annual review should be done like between October and November, something like that, something at the end of the season.
I think it should be done during our slow season.
Yeah.
You know, so after the holidays, January,
Yeah.
February, March.
Who would do Maddie's?
Mission.
Would it be Maddie?
You would do that.
Now it's
Well, I think that it does have to be done by the AA and the
Yeah.
chairperson,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
I mean, we should still get a copy of all those. Like,
Right, sure,
Should
yeah.
still get a copy of it.
Yeah.
So then any questions that people did have could be directed to the people that did the review, you know, as long as it wasn't going out to
And
the
they'll cross the
public,
bridge
and they know the meeting was.
Yeah, we'll cross the bridge when you get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Commission meetings and stuff like that.
Yes, Joan?
Wanted to go back to the subcontracted services now.
Yep.
Number 3, the kitchen may be rented with a contract and the approval of the Recreation Commission and the Board of Health. So I mean, it is in there, but we should give a price that if we're gonna do it, we need to set up a price.
I think, did we do that with, we did that with the scouting and with the whole camp rental, like if you included the kitchen versus not needing the kitchen.
Right.
Like when UMass came in.
Yeah.
We did put that in with our rates, right?
Right, we do, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Would you get a rate in there for it?
Yeah, don't ask me what it is right now,
I
but
think
it
it was
was
like 150 would, and then maybe 100 with this.
per day or something, right?
Full use of the kitchen.
Right,
I have
for giant groups like that.
Yeah.
So, Dory,
So-
same, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did you want to say?
Oh,
Do we charge the caterers that when they come in and use the kitchen? Their
We
functions?
know, apparently no.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we
Right.
did, well, I just want to make sure that we
Yeah,
did,
we'll have
yeah,
that
because
story.
Dory wasn't here last week, so I
Oh,
wanted.
yeah. No,
So-
George was here. Oh, it was Diane that wasn't here.
Oh,
Yeah, that's okay. But we talked about adding like a catering fee, yeah.
But again, that's tricky because the caterers are actually subcontracted out through the,
they need-
Right.
Well, it
yeah,
was
but
just-
they need to get a board of health permit in order for them to cater here, right?
right, they pay for that.
Right, so they would pay to be
They're
there
paid,
too.
they're paid to be here too.
Okay.
before
And they can always
Do we-
charge it back to their client.
Yeah, they'll absolutely do that. Okay, but do we have to send a board of health approval
No.
for caterers, or they just go straight to?
No, it's all, yeah, we don't have anything to do with it.
We
Then
talk
we
about
have-
rentals, like caterer rentals or?
Like weddings.
Not like coming in here and cooking and then going to another place, but like coming in here for a wedding, catering it, and then, you know, like we should charge them money for using our kitchen to run their function essentially here.
Somewhere in there, and I only know this because I was here this weekend, we have to be very clear for these caterers not to put their grills blocking off the entire handicap area.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one of the long-term projects we have is having a defined parking area.
Oh, it says handicap.
Grills, they
Yeah,
cook.
grills.
That was the first time I've seen it.
Right. Second time.
Okay.
So was anyone parked in?
No, it was all his cooking.
In grills, I saw.
And did he have the grills,
totally blocking the handicap spots.
So that if
Right
someone,
across the door.
okay, yeah, that can't happen. So they're gonna be finding a place.
But just to maybe let the caretakers know,
I'm sorry?
to make sure that the caretakers chastise around that. Even the vandals parked there, and the girls were right across, and they smoked and everything else. Maybe I watched it, was playing with their hand. Because of, you know.
Well, these are all things we need to consider for the long, you know,
But
they need
that's
to
something that the
consider.
caretaker can handle like that, just, you know, excuse me, you know.
And it should be further away from the lodge
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
How often do we have smokers up there?
More increasing.
Most of the time, yeah.
It's a new thing.
Yeah.
I was here
I mean,
Friday.
is there any reason why they wouldn't do it on the side of the building?
2 in 1.
Use the propane tanks in there?
Only takes a few.
They're doing it right here.
Yeah.
Once they're
You know,
going
They're
in.
doing it right outside
You
here.
don't, so you wanna have like, so like, the parking handicap spots, you wanna like cut the parking lot log in half and like push them over towards the cabins more. Like, kind of over near the dumps.
You could call it off.
Right.
That would six smokers.
Do we,
We have, we need to work. No, anybody can hire it.
Yeah, right.
To be honest, Susan, I wanna come up with like
They
a
did all
caterer, like a, well,
We're not allowed to.
I know, but I wanna come up with, something that we send to the caterers that, you know, give our rules here, the stuff that's posted, and then we can add that to that list. Like if you're grilling is in designated areas only, please check in with the caretaker before you set up your grills and all that sort of thing.
And if they set up their grills, you know, and if they're not in the right place, then
You
They've
gotta
just tell them
you
to
gotta
move the grills over
Yeah.
to the right place.
Why don't we didn't just set up over to this side?
And that should also be put on, that should also be put in online, like with the seating,
Yeah.
with the table set up, that the grill area is this big.
Yep.
You know, the measurements and
Yep.
where it is.
Mhm.
Yep.
There's, in security and technology, the lodge door shall be unlocked during office hours 9 to 5, and our hours are 9 to 2.
Yep,
Yeah, they were at one point in time.
when we had a director.
This was last one done.
Yep, 92.
Number 5, the front door of the lodge is coded access. The rec commission members and staff will have access codes. The commission will be notified of temporary access code. Who manages all of that? Like, who keeps track of all of it?
I don't think I want it. I didn't either, so I was forced to do an event here.
Back when Josh was here, we were all assigned codes out.
We were.
And I got my email that said that day that you had to leave.
Really?
And I locked up, I couldn't get your thing to lock the door.
I know.
So I found my email from way back.
When we were doing a fire watch. Yeah. I'm sorry, who oversees that?
Yeah, who manages like what the access codes are and removing them when an employee leaves?
There's no one really in charge of that. It's, and that's unfortunate. That needs to be designated to somebody, but again, that's tricky.
Okay.
So it can be the chairperson, it can be the head caretaker. I don't know what you want to do
Does
with
the
that.
town manage that security system?
No.
Just us?
No, it's just for our building. They're all getting a fob system.
That'll be another one that probably stuff. I'm gonna dump it all on you guys.
Yeah.
Maddie being caretaker to make sure that, but from what I understand, are we having a problem getting all the companies to like clear everybody's name up?
It's 3 different systems that are 3 different things, like the door code is a system, the time code is a system, and the alarms are a system. The alarms are the one we're having trouble getting a hold of to change the codes, like to give everyone new alarm codes.
Right.
The time clock is just on the computer, so it's just that system. I don't know how to get the door, I don't even know who the company is, I don't know anything about that door code at all. I've had the same door code since I started here, and I don't know if it's
I know Josh and the wife were down at one time, and that's, I don't know how he did it as we recall.
He didn't want mine.
Didn't we tie the new security system into a new security system?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And then have a report, so you can actually look at it and see
Yeah.
who's in and who's out. Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Why don't we have a-
So that's all being done
Yes.
under that grant, right? That's all going to
We
be
can
done.
do it
Yep.
in that grant.
Okay.
because-
I know that door code has an app that goes with it because my husband Jim's the one who put that on, and he had the app, and he would get notified every time somebody opened that door. and he knew exactly who it was. So it is an online system that.
We could probably call Schloss
Yeah.
and figure that out.
Yeah.
In the
But something-
meantime, but
so-
I think we need to see where we're going with the new system.
Yes.
Yeah, then we can tie it into a security, you know,
And rip it off the door and doing it.
yeah, if we have monitoring from outside, we can tie them both in.
Yeah.
Right,
That's something
Yeah.
that we want to do.
Yeah.
Shouldn't the IT director be the one handling?
You would think.
There's so much turnover, I know.
Yeah, I mean, there's turnover, but they should have, they should have.
As long as
They
they,
manage your email accounts for the town.
If they do it,
Email accounts, so they
and then hand it to us so that we know what we're doing with it.
should- I wouldn't want that. No, I mean, like, so.
It's terminated, and the IT guys are the ones that kind of wipe away.
Yeah, they wipe away
your
everybody's
existing
access, right?
company.
Like, they can say, they can show us how to say, okay, if you wanna,
Yes.
here's like,
We're notifying
we're notifying that Maddie came in the building or something like that. But like, they should be the ones to set up the temporary access codes, they should be the ones to do that. It just makes it so, I don't set up the temporary access code, then I forget to set, take it out, and things like that. Brian, that's a question.
Right?
Is the new IT person full-time or part-time?
Full-time.
Full-time?
Full-time. And he makes like 96,000 a year, so he can.
So this one will stay.
Yeah.
And the other one was part-time, we haven't had a full-time.
Yeah. But now that we do, we should take advantage of it, especially as technology up there increases.
Well, when you get into, when people come in and they're here for the wedding, it's easy enough to set, like you have a primary login for the work there. And then you have a secondary for whoever's here for the wedding. At the end of the wedding, you wipe it out. So that way nobody else can log in with them, like when the rent happens. We have-
Rather than belabor this, why don't we just wait
Yeah.
until we get the IT director? So let's, in the interest of moving along.
Can we get him over into a commission meeting so we tell all our problems?
It's a long meeting.
Okay.
Okay, moving on.
It's time to end.
So I'm on the last page here, but was the CPA office, but we didn't have that question answered. Who manages that email and was it forwarded directly to Dory's?
Right.
And then, I think that's it. So I think everything else that I had made notes of are related directly to weddings. And then, there are no policies, and procedures on, like hiring staff for seasonal, opening and closing the bathhouses, like when that's done and who does it.
That's somewhere.
I think I would call the caretakers.
Well, I think it's also been, there are typical dates, but then they are subject to change based on commission discretion. For example, we used to close everything October 31st, but now we have some weddings, I think in the middle of October, the one camping, in November.
Yep.
Yeah, so, all of that. We also need policies on what to do during events for our caretakers.
Right.
That need to go in the rental packet that we hand to potential renters. That this is what's gonna happen if this happens at your
Isn't that more
event.
well, isn't that the kind of what the,
Yeah, that's printed. I forgot to pick it up today to bring it here tonight. But, yeah, that flyer is, that, folded piece is done.
Okay.
So that can start going out. I mean, I think we're at a wash for this year, but we'll be able to start fresh with
Yes.
with a new process for
Right.
weddings starting
January 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so once these updates are made to the policies and procedures,
I can make them. so-
yeah, and send them off to, are there any more discussions on policies and procedures? Any other questions or anything?
This goes to the town administrator or?
It's going to go from the town administrator to town council. When it does get to town council, excuse me, we will make sure that it gets looked at promptly and returned promptly. Okay, we didn't pay for the last
Okay, so she's gonna make a copy of all the corrections and
Yep.
then we have to look at it and approve it. And if we approve it, then it goes to the TA.
It can go on the next meeting agenda.
So I'll update it, I'll send it to Dory, so Dory can send it out to everybody so that they can review it before the next meeting, and then if we can just quickly approve it, that would be great.
Okay, can we move on to the Halloween spectacular?
Yes.
So let's do an update. Oh, sorry, the one.
Oh, yeah, no, I asked Dory to add this because we got some donations, and I didn't know if we had to accept them before they, like, we haven't received them yet, but I know we have to accept the donations.
We do have to accept them. Usually, in the past, we accepted them after we've gotten them, but we can't accept them now, in advance, you know, once it happens.
Has to go to the board of selectmen too.
Right.
Okay.
But if we accept them now, they get to the board of selectmen quicker. So, right.
So, we received, so we received the following donations. We are receiving a $300 donation from Impressed LLC. They are the grow facility in Hanson. We received a $200 donation from Sullivan's USA. They prefer to remain anonymous though, so they don't want to be part of the sponsor list. Yeah, Sullivan's on the corner next
That's
to,
the motorcycle.
no, next to the Five Rings.
Next to what?
Five Rings on Main Street, you know, the dog.
Oh, yeah,
Here
yeah.
on the corner there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
that's, yeah.
okay.
Make sure they're anonymous.
Well, he doesn't want to be on any of the signage,
Right.
basically.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
so-
That's super kind.
Yes, very nice.
Yeah, that's
We
good.
received a $500 donation from the Chimney Chap. The 200th Anniversary Commission is going to sponsor the buses, which I don't think we have to accept that donation because they're just gonna,
It's a
the
town
bill's
board
just
too.
gonna.
And well, you're co-sponsoring the event now, right?
Well, I don't think we need to, honestly, because of the additional donations that we pushed for.
Okay.
And, yeah, we covered everything, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we do have them as a, you know, a fallback if, you know, there are additional expenses.
Right.
We received a $250 donation from Sullivan's Funeral Home.
That's where the confusion was.
Yeah, so they actually paid for the pumpkins. So Amanda wrote me a check for Umbrella Farms for $250. So she paid directly, so I don't know if we have to accept the pumpkins, I don't, you know.
I think we accept the donation.
Yeah,
The physical.
yeah. And what am I missing? We get a $25 gift card from Heidi's Hollow for the, you know, best, you know, pumpkin. And Shaw's is donating all of the hot chocolate.
So the only thing really left to purchase was, I think they donated napkins too, right?
They didn't have napkins, but I'm doing it.
I can donate.
Yeah, I've got, I picked them up and stuff.
Yeah, I paid for the craft, so I have to get reimbursed, that was $280,
Yeah.
so that's an expense.
Yeah.
And
Well, I was going to do s'mores, but we're not doing those now because we have.
A marshmallow shortage.
Me too.
There is two. Yeah, there is. There's marshmallow.
marshmallow.
Stock up.
Shaw's was going to donate all the marshmallows.
There's
When I called to confirm my pickup, he's like, there are no marshmallows.
I know, it's
They
absurd.
just, people are just making stuff up now. Like, we have no marshmallows, I'm sorry, man.
I'm sorry?
That's a home, so that I have exclusive.
Yeah, exactly.
Hang on to it. You could sell them on eBay.
The big ones.
Well, we do have an ice cream truck coming and.
Well, I should, she's maybe, it's depending on her inventory, she's going to see them. Yes, but we have the waffle.
The waffle, yeah, so we have the waffle, Jolly Waffles.
Yes.
Food truck is coming, so, and hot chocolate and fire, and honestly, like,
It's enough.
Yeah.
you know, with the fire pit, I was saying to Roger this weekend, like, you can really only get about six or seven people
Yeah.
around.
Right.
And safely at a time with roasted marshmallows,
Right.
so.
Yep.
So we should have to accept the donation, so I, we have to make a motion.
So move. That's what she said.
Yeah.
All those in favor to accept the donation of the 23 pumpkins from Israel Farms and from Sullivan?
Sullivan's Funeral.
Thank you, say aye. Aye. Okay.
Board of selectmen approval.
Yeah, pending board of selectmen approval.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's decorated. Did you get the list?
I did get the list, I was in a data center all day today, so I'm gonna do it tomorrow,
Okay.
but I have the list.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll bring up the elephant in the room, so the weather does look really bad this weekend.
80%.
And I'm like depressed about it. So I was talking to Aubrey, I don't know. Sunday looks a little bit better, but then we're dealing with Halloween. So.
But the event runs from 3
3 to 7.
to 7.
So I was like, well, maybe, Sunday does look slightly better, I think it's like 60, 75% chance rain, but I mean, Saturday is like rain. It's like 100% rain the whole day. I mean, we can reevaluate it on Wednesday. You know, and maybe we change the timing on Sunday, like maybe we make it earlier, like 1 to 5 or 1 to 4.
That's what
I would do
happened
it
last
earlier.
year.
It's just, it's off, like, and I don't think but they're gonna bring little kids in the rain or something.
No, that's
Okay,
not-
but, I'm sorry?
That's kind of a nightmare, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, and it was a nightmare, it really wasn't for
Oh,
everybody, no.
it's miserable.
And we got sort of reprimanded for not having a rain date.
Yeah, you do.
And unfortunately, the rain date doesn't look,
So,
in really.
I would think if both of the rain dates don't hit, then we should take the donations and stuff that we haven't already spent and maybe put that over to
another.
another event, like a winter event.
Well, I was just thinking, I was like, well, we could do like a winter.
Yeah, like, I mean, obviously, you guys have been working really hard.
With the exception of the pumpkins.
With the exception, well, we can do something with the pumpkins, but, I mean,
You do it after Halloween.
I mean, well, I don't know, how do people feel about, because I was looking at the weather also, and
Friday looks about the best.
we have a wedding.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
No?
We don't have this weekend.
this Friday,
No.
yeah.
25% precipitation, 50%.
Oh, no, people have to decorate cabins.
Yeah, possibly, I mean, I do it on a weekday, it's
Yeah.
probably not gonna be
Yeah.
an option.
I would say we do it Sunday, but I would do it earlier, because trick or treat usually starts around 5 o'clock, I think, for kids. Especially on the weekend.
Last one was at 11 o'clock, wasn't it? 11, 12, I think it was 11:03.
Yeah.
Now it's 92% chance of rain.
Yeah.
But still, it's not 100, so that's.
So-
And see, mine shows 50% chance of rain on Monday. I mean, on
Or
Sunday.
actually,
I see 35.
I use this, it's really good app,
So
I show
would-
70% for Saturday, and I show 50%
Good
for
Sundays
Sunday.
about it. Like, even like rain in the Sunday is rain kind of in the morning till about 2, and then it's like overcast, cloudy the rest of the day. So I don't know, I mean,
I want that job.
yeah.
I want to be gone, just to get paid for it.
I know.
It's-
I was getting half of that,
I
which is
think-
wrong.
I think we have a decision on.
Now you're getting married, so I know.
I think we make the decision on Wednesday.
Yeah.
We'll have a lot better picture of it, and if we can't get a rain day, if neither of the days are gonna work, I say we just take the donations that we have, we talk to the Bridal, CB, Sullivan, USA, and all them, and say, hey, it didn't work out this time, we're gonna use a donation for
We can do it for the winter wonderland.
Wonderland or something like that. I mean, it sucks, but we can't really do it. And I think the week, I'm not available the weekend after that, but I also think that the
There's
right the
weddings,
weekend
we have
after that.
great weddings.
Great weddings,
It just won't, it won't work out if it doesn't work out this
I think
weekend.
we're
But also,
more
like-
after the nor'easter here, because that could impact, if it leaves sooner.
Yeah, or that nor'easter could drop down a lot of trees, and like, it's a whole.
You're gonna know what it is.
I would say that Wednesday, we look at and see if maybe Sunday's an option before we change this, because
Yeah.
not only that, but you've got 17 families that are buying and putting together and getting candy and all that kind of stuff for the cabins, to do for Halloween, not for our winter things. So I would rather do it on the 31st.
Yes.
Yes.
And you do it like earlier, like 1 to
Yeah.
5.
If we
I would
can't do it on a
early.
Saturday.
I would do like a 12 to 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's stuff, I mean, if we can do it this weekend, we should definitely
I
do it.
think
But
we
if,
should.
if we're just being transparent, if we can't do it this weekend.
Right.
So we make an announcement on the Facebook site that says.
And I have everybody, for who's decorating cabins, I have everyone's email, so I was gonna send them an email and just give them an update that we're reevaluating for Wednesday, Wednesday's the day.
That will make the final
We'll make a
decision.
decision, and then,
What about the weekend after next? I know that this. The
There's a
weekend.
couple of parties, secret parties, 3 parties.
You'd have the biggest pie in the world if we had that same day.
Yeah.
you mean the 13th?
It'd be
Yeah.
very special.
Do you think that's anticlimactic?
I don't know, it's still,
Because the anniversary party, it's a no deposit.
So I think both of those aren't happening.
Yeah.
The party, the party on Saturday, not having the paint nights on Sunday, that's it. That weekend's gonna be split, it's gonna be 2 weeks post Halloween, so.
What weekend is that?
The 12th.
I think people,
Okay.
And then Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
No more than a couple of days.
yeah.
I think on Wednesday we'll know exactly what we're gonna do, and I think rather having the 2 weeks out from Halloween instead of.
Yeah.
I think after Halloween, people are Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. After Halloween, people are kind of getting there, everybody's getting ready for, like.
Thanksgiving and Christmas, I mean, it's, we lose the kids from Halloween to.
All right, so Audrey and I will kind of chat and kind of make a decision, and then we'll email the Halloween group. Yeah.
Okay,
And then Frank, if that, you'll be in contact with all the
I'm gonna
volunteers.
talk to the volunteers tomorrow, I'm gonna send them all an email and just remind information, everything like that, I'm gonna call my house speeds and see what we do, so.
Cool.
okay. Team reports? Fine? We're going to facilities first for you two.
Oh, thanks.
Met with the contractor today about the roof. That's about the last night we were trying to get a hold of them. Get a hold of one gentleman. He came by, we looked at it about 2 o'clock. He's going to get back to me in 2 or 3 days by the end of the week whether he is able to do it. He has the capability to do it, but if he can't, he has a couple other friends who are bigger contractors who can handle general being the GC on that.
Right.
And that's what I told him, is that once you, on the general contractor, you have to coordinate the fire systems, the electrical. He didn't seem to have a problem with the roof as far as capability. But I asked him if we still could use a current vendor that we had for the stove, because I don't know if I got to call him too and see if he's.
For the
built-
stove or for the ancillary system?
Well, not the ancillary, but the stove vendor who's probably built that unit, the range hood.
Okay.
So I want to see if we can still incorporate him, but he carries the permit, he's the
Right.
GC, and he works as a sub on there.
Right.
So that's the intent. And then Gordon is still in the mix, but I wanted to reach out to the others.
Always good to have backup.
Yeah, one is booked out for a year to a year and a half. Another guy isn't answering my calls, and he's at 4 from Anne Marie, and one of them, like I said, is Gordon. And
Okay.
This is a bigger job, and I wanted to see with a couple of them what it would entail.
And I had spoken with John Carter,
And
and I have not heard back from him, and I have a phone call into him, waiting to hear, but he was going to speak with our
it's
building
crazy now,
inspector.
supplies.
Well, that was the other thing, he did say that, he could do this job, but nobody's making green shingles right now. So you would have to go with black shingles, because during the pandemic, they, cut production, so they decided to make the most common black, brown, gray, and we have green, of course. And no, the only ones I think we have hanging around are the ones from the cabins, the green shingles on the cabins, and they're a completely different size than the ones on this roof. So,
Well,
yes.
the green are so when you become a teacher at Hanson, you have to go on a Hanson tour. And one of our questions is what was the color of the Camp Quaney roof? You have to drive to Quaney to find out.
Black and green.
Yeah, that would be black and green. That's true, black.
Yeah, or a slightly darker green.
Just a little.
Yeah, change colors.
We're going with, with camo. We're gonna end up with that.
Can I just ask, because I wasn't sure at the last meeting what we determined on when the roof is getting fixed, is yoga and drama kids still going to be here? Because I just need to schedule, there's 3 shifts of caretakers that have to be here, because they're not office hours for drama kids and yoga. And I don't know what we decided, if they're coming during those roof shifts, or they're not going to be here at all.
I think we decided it'd be okay if they.
Yeah, it would be okay, and if we could cordon that
Yeah.
area off. then we
Right.
could do
Yeah.
that.
Kind of hold them up here,
Yeah.
as far away from the kitchen as possible.
I just want to know scheduling.
But there's also the matter of reviewing those contracts and paying for caretakers and all of that.
Mhm.
Do we have those new contracts written up, or?
Yeah, they're all written up and they're sent, they're just awaiting signature. We got Kate Knight with Cass, we have her signature, we're waiting on Veronica's.
And Yoda,
Yeah.
okay.
One other thing came up is, I know we're not booked for November, from November 20th to January, yeah, through the end of January, but I know we had spoke today, Dory and I, and there's nothing in February. But I don't think we should commit there for February right now.
Commit what?
Any events,
Okay.
until we have a clear picture, we have a contractor in place, he has materials. I just want to get us in line.
So how do you mean commit to a major event that we use the kitchen? Or do you mean
Yeah.
commit to things like paint with cat and things?
A major event where we would use the kitchen.
Okay,
But that's subject to the building inspector too, and we need to talk to them, can we still have folks in here? In regards to, okay, we're doing the kitchen, or can we cool it off?
Mhm.
We still have heat here, we're still able to do things, but once we get into gas and all that, we might have to schedule things around that, on the
Yeah.
gas side. But, it's trying to get it as quickly, get a commitment from someone. If this guy can't get it, if he has friends, we'll that work too. And he seems to think that if he can't do it, he has a couple guys who could.
okay,
So,
all right. Anything else?
Also, kind of facilities, I guess. I did go up and get a price on the trees that we talked about. As a matter of fact, when I was gonna go up, Melissa sent me a, what is the name of the place?
Ceilings.
Ceilings. They had a sale, 30% off the trees. For the trees delivered, and I wasn't directing mulch or anything like that because, I'll explain it in 1 second. For the trees delivered here, you're talking about roughly $1,700. That's going with the one dogwood, 2 multi-stem birch trees, 2 red bud trees, the ones that were on the list that they gave us. I talked to Dory about maybe getting either Diaz in here to maybe dig the holes for us, which would be 6 holes because, and as she informed me, he said, can't put it where there already stumps were. And obviously we have to watch out for electrical, water, and
Right.
all the other stuff. His comeback was basically he could dig the holes, but he wouldn't drop the trees, right?
Right.
And that kid is back when he has the proper.
Alan said we would dig the holes.
You would dig the holes. And he's
We
about
can just
to
get dig
tell-
safe here, can't we? Just get dig safe?
Dig Safe has been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all-
Oh, okay.
It's not much, where we want the trees really isn't an issue with the, it's more an issue with stumps than anything else.
Right, so that would be, if we go this route, it's gonna kind of be a discrepancy of where he wants to put the holes, because he knows where the roots are, he's gonna know where. all
I think that makes sense though.
So it's gonna kind of be, where can we put it, is where we're stuck with at that point. After talking about that, I had a conversation with Brian, and whereas, we were talking, do we want to go, because right now, well, I need, okay, for $2,000 for the trees, just in case they don't have these trees anymore, then I might go up, might go down, might have to change it again. But then we talked, and do we want to put the bigger trees in, or do we want to go with a different plan with smaller trees or shrubs or something like that? I don't know.
I want
the issue.
I think we do the trees. I mean, trees are what people want to see.
Yeah.
Trees are what we're taking down. I think we should put trees back. And if it's $1,700 and we have, I believe, 53 or 57.
We're within the money budget, but then we also have other issues. Do we have the money to fix the doors back?
The
here?
money for the money for that has to be for that.
Yeah. That's the money that's left over from the stump article. So
Oh,
we have
okay.
5,700 for landscape.
So we 1,700 in trees and mulch and if we want to put some flowering, like maybe a little planting area, you know, hopefully Alan can move some of those rocks. And we really do need to talk to highway.
Well, the caretakers were,
No, just to get, the rocks that are over at Mr. Dyer's property. He did say we could have all those boulders, and we just need them brought up. So I don't know I don't even know if Hanson owns the equipment that can
We
do
do, I've
that.
seen it. They have trucks that you can just.
You know, but I don't want to be responsible for breaking a truck, those things are heavy. Like,
That's what they do,
That's
that's
a heavy duty equipment.
I know, but you know, I was thinking, like,
That's what they do,
Yeah.
they're all the trucks, they all that.
I mean, they'll tell us.
Big rocks normally go on a flatbed rather than dump them into a dump truck, because you will destroy a dump truck.
Right.
Dump those rocks into.
like,
Do they have a front end loader that would handle them? Yes.
okay, you do have a front end loader. Well, that's what I'm picturing, because as a kid, that's what I saw done, it was done with a front end loader, and bring it up, yeah.
That's what he's used up here before, is the front end loader, which can handle large items. But
Fine.
as far as to deliver the boulders, I don't think they have the equipment to do that properly without destroying the dump trucks.
Okay,
It's probably a rear.
I'm sorry.
Reading contract. That's expensive.
How,
How did these rocks get here?
PA Landers.
Because they would hit their rocks and then they
So could we ask PA Landers to do some work for us? Is that doable? Is that
I'm sure
allowed?
they would, they would charge you for it.
Well, we have a few grand, but we don't
Right,
spend it all, we have the money to do it.
right. I mean, if we have to wait till next year on mulch, I'm okay with that.
I don't care about
But I mean, if we reach out to PA Landers.
So it's Bo Dyer's property.
Yeah,
Do you want me to reach out to Bo and see if he has the?
that'd be great. If he knows somebody or if he can make a call, that would be fantastic.
Is that the shed guy?
No,
Bo,
Mr. Dyer owns the land,
He owns the land,
and somebody's building a shed
Across
company
from-
on it.
the middle school. He
Yeah.
owns that property.
It's next to Sheehan's.
Yeah, it's next to Sheehan's, between Sheehan's and the vet, where
Right.
PCH moved to. He owns that lot.
I'm just trying to,
They're
I'm just
not-
trying to get rid of the walls, because if it's a shed guys, and they have the equipment to move sheds, they probably have a flat desk and rock,
There's a shed company going in there.
Yeah,
but it's the other guy.
But it's what?
The person who owns the land.
Person who owns the land now.
Yeah. So, and he said we could have them, and it's sort of like, okay, come and get them, or I'm gonna do something else with them.
I have Bo's phone number. I can give him a call and ask him if he has the ability to.
And then let me know if you need to call the
If he does,
ambulance.
then yeah.
Okay.
I think the more pressing issue is getting trees planted.
Yeah, the
Isn't
trees.
that- isn't that the-
boulders are we talking about? I mean, we've got 3 out there now, but we don't even, that we were 4.
We want Alan to move those, and then Highway can actually move them if they bring the front end loader up. We were thinking to put them along the edges more frequently so that people will stop parking on the areas we don't want them parking in.
How crazy it go about that, you gotta put them like a quarry or something,
Yeah.
but too many of those walls.
We only need probably,
I mean,
I originally thought it was just at each corner, but maybe a boulder, you can make like a rock garden around.
right, we're not gonna take, I'm not talking Flintstone size, but I'm talking,
A couple strategically placed boulders,
Right.
you know, so that you're not putting all these generic no parking signs everywhere, you know?
Right.
It's kind of a subtle, don't park here.
Even if we need to.
But it goes with
around.
the environment, you know, it stays aesthetically pleasing.
Right, I don't want lines of boulders or anything,
Yeah.
but, one there with a no parking sign and one, it would just, it would help.
Do you have a picture of the boulders? Or can you
No.
get images of them?
Yeah, if I walk up to that piece of property someday. I mean, I can see them from the street.
Yeah, if you can get images, PA Linus is one of my vendors, so if we get to that point,
Yep,
I'll need something.
okay,
Ask.
okay.
Do you want me to talk to Bo and then
Oh,
he can,
if he can.
and then he can, I'll call you and then we can coordinate.
I can call John Fons again and see if he's,
But they'll want to know how many donations.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
If it gets
but like Melissa said, most people.
I think the trees,
The tree,
There's always gonna be
Process
goals.
would be the next week.
Yeah.
right, so let's get the trees.
I mean,
With
we
the
have to.
trees, I, you know, if you give me the go-ahead, and if you give me up to $2,000, I'm sure I will spend, I'll probably spend less. I'll probably be around $1,655, $1,700 mark, and that's the limit. The issue is.
And we don't pay tax.
No, I have been, yes, you can do this.
Yes.
I'll work with Dory to, so she can explain how it's going to be paid for.
Okay.
And then, you know, I can get them here, but the issue with Alan, I think this is a couple weeks out.
2 weeks out.
Planting them. I mean, they can be
Digging the hole.
rock anywhere on a property. You know,
Yeah.
so they're not sticking in the middle of here.
Can we just buy them now?
Yes.
Just say, hey, you know, keep them wrapped and then say, you know, deliver them in a week or something like that from now, and then hopefully by that time, Alan will be only a week out or something.
Well, I mean, we're talking, we're still in the 50s and 60s for the next, until next Wednesday.
Until the trees drop on site, that's gonna be 35.
Well, I-
Right.
Yeah, until we get the trees there, it's gonna be snowing, so.
Now, the shingles on the roof.
I don't know how far out their delivery time is, for some weird reason, they're like 3 or 4 weeks, I just we can visit.
Who is this?
Sionis.
Sam's?
I'm sure we can maybe from the highway.
Let's get to the end of the season.
Just get it delivered. Because I tried to get them all trucks, I can't roll set. But, I mean, we can drop them over like that,
Okay.
easy to drop anyway.
So do we need a motion?
I can even, I can even, my husband has a truck, I can even go pick him up.
Right, we can, exactly, I have a truck too. Right,
And we can go pick him up if
Yeah.
he's delayed with shipping, or.
so who did you work with at Sionis?
Just one of the guys out the, the tags are.
A yard tag?
Price tag, so we
Okay.
don't own them because I didn't have the money.
Right,
I'll just
can't
bring that down
tag,
there.
we can't tag them until we pay them.
Right,
Right, so I can go down to the tax number,
Yeah.
get
Right.
whatever, and then I'll talk to Dory.
Why don't you go down and at least tag them and, you know, do
I
that?
mean, it'd be great if the delivery was up 2 weeks, because then Alan will come here.
Right.
So, they can take care of the trees until then, and then Alan can just drop
Because
it.
they said to deliver to two-man truck, you know, they're happy.
They are, no, I know, they are. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to, spend up to $2,000 from that money for the stumps, from the tree and stump grant, on purchasing, I'm sorry?
We'll try to get these exact trees if not.
On the purchase of trees from Sionis,
There you
okay?
So moved.
So moved? Second. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, yes.
Also want to take a vote on contacting Alan Diaz and have him come out and dig the holes.
Yep.
yeah.
And did he say how much that was gonna be?
Yeah.
go. I think it was 300.
Okay.
Yeah, he said 300 for 4 hours, which one?
Yeah, that's what it was, 300.
That's the-
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to hire Alan using the money from that same grant to dig the holes from the tree.
So,
From the trees, yeah. So, second, all those in favor? Okay, great. Yes, Roger?
When I called DigSafe, they sent the gas company out. I saw a red X out there, I believe that there is the electric. Assuming there is no electricity under there, I did not see the water department put any kind of markings out there. I personally don't know where the water is underground here.
I think the water comes in from the street, which is why we couldn't have the gazebo. And it goes to that hydrant
Tree line on the right.
and over there.
There's no
So it's not going to interfere with
It's not
any
going to
circuit.
interfere with this. And it comes from over there all around to here. Yeah. Okay. Anything else under team reports?
for the,
Yep.
let's see it first.
Oh, so, Frank and I went to conservation, and, when we first met with them, I think we were all under the impression that they wanted us to kind of take care of the water going onto the beach before we started the sand removal project, and, they had a little, different tone this time. So, we can start the sand project next. So, I am working with a couple of people to create, a notice of intent. They gave, Lon gave us all the map of the code that we'll need to use to create this. So, I have a couple of people helping me with that, and then Frank from Conservation, that can take a look at it before we go to the meeting to present it, just to make sure we're not missing anything that they're gonna stop us at the meeting. But they're good with us doing that as long as we put up some temporary barriers, sort of like, to prevent the water from going on to the beach and washing everything away, while we work on, a longer term solution for that. Bless you. Jameson at Highway thought you might have some socks that we could use. She was gonna get them from a construction project that was happening now, so we're looking at some, cheap, free options to do that. So that's, the update with that, so.
Okay. And then, I know that we do, like I said, have an engineer that works on the town. We have to check into, maybe you could ask Lisa about that. The engineer that I think we keep on retainer in the town, don't know if they could do some kind of a plan to create the drainage, what do we call those, the basins, so that the washout onto the Cove Beach could once and for all be prevented. Rather than trying to hire someone outside of the town. I know it would end up coming out of our budget, but if the transfer is approved, then maybe we could somehow afford it.
There is a civil engineer right up near the train tracks.
Yeah, planning?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been up here, they've done a lot of.
Okay. Do we know if they'd be willing to do
I
something?
don't know, I saw civil engineer when I was trying to buy some of those things go out of time.
Yeah, they have planning's been up here before, they've done.
Yeah, they've been in that.
Yeah, they're planning.
Yeah.
Brian's talking.
So,
Well, that would be if we had to pay for it, if our engineer, then maybe we could reach out to them.
Right.
Yeah,
so maybe we can check into that. Okay. Anything else under team reports?
Just on the beach, so I don't know, they want us to take up the sand on the beach. Should we start that process now, or should we start that in the spring?
We have to wait until they approve our notice of intent. So once we get that approved by conservation, we can start it whenever we want to.
It can even be done, until it's frozen, right?
Yeah, the only thing Jameson had an issue with that his trucks are gonna turn over into like winter mode, right, the plows and all that sort of stuff on them, so, but we can, if he has the ability to remove it, once we get that notice of intent approved by conservation, we can start right away.
I'd really like to have it removed before the frost comes, so that any leftover wasps that are there could just freeze.
Yeah.
I got stung, and my whole arm blew up this week, and I'm like on an antibiotic now. Anyway, okay, all right. Anything else under team reports?
We want to discuss doors of the teams that wait for the caretakers.
I'm going to put it under caretakers. Caretakers.
Okay.
And if you don't mind, I'd rather do old business last, if you don't mind today. So I'd like to get to the departmental update.
Okay, thank you. So we had a correspondence from, for the polar plunge, and they'd like to do it, I put in your packet on Sunday, February 6th, for about 1 to 2 hours. They'll have the fire department there early, and they're asking also for a caretaker at the same time, to have one there.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
they want
I
to
think
donate
we
it?
have to bill, so.
I think we can donate one, right? A caretaker?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we donate one.
This is for the
For
PTO.
the polar plunge, yeah.
And they like Bill, so.
February 6th.
Well, he was great. Okay, we need to take a vote on that?
Donate these, and then I'll send it to the board of selectmen.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to pay for caretaker hours for the polar plunge for the Hanson PTO on February 6th. Let's pay for a total, I think, of 3 hours. I know it's going to last, but there might be some setup and cleanup, so 3 hours.
So moved.
Pending the board of selectmen approval. So moved, anyone second? Thanks, all those in favor? Okay, let's do a fifth break. Anything else, Lori?
Just a couple things, just I don't know, as far as the regarding the budget. So the finance committee hasn't met yet, I don't have a date yet. I checked today, so they should be scheduling meetings soon for our request. So as soon as I have any information on that, I'll let you know, as soon as I find out.
So, just a general question about that. So everybody keeps saying that we request money from the finance committee to want to get us out of the enterprise fund. What's the problem issue with that? I
The
guess-
ramifications
Yeah,
of
what's the
taking.
ramifications of that?
Okay, so if we go back into the town budget,
Yep.
we get to be part of the town budget, and they either, like, for example, at this last town meeting, everybody got funded through free cash, I believe. That was a significant theme, I think, at this last town meeting. We may or may not have been included in that.
Okay.
Basically, what it means is the town decides how much to put into the camp each year.
Okay.
We are an enterprise account, we are supposed to be self-sustaining, meaning we are supposed to generate the money that we spend. And the town is not supposed to support us in any way. They have been supporting us up until this year.
Okay.
So we are down to bare bones right now because, and I really can't even say that it's because of COVID or anything else. We would have had more money to operate under if we didn't have to cancel all of our events last year. However, we had a significant amount of events this year, huge season. And I think the bottom line for Camp Kiwanee is that this is a place that needs to be maintained and operated 12 months out of the year. And it's a place that really only makes money 5.5 months out of the year. So again, that's another argument to be made when we go to raise rates.
Right.
So Brian?
Question, not even a question, it's a statement. That's correct and incorrect. The purpose of the enterprise fund is like the transfer station. It's the full behind, but say our budget's $300,000, we have to make $300,000. We make $225,000, so we can go to town meeting if we have to. We can ask for 75 as opposed to going to town meeting and say, hey, we need $300,000. That's the benefit of the enterprise account, so we're kind of saving the town money. The way it is written is that if we can't sustain on our own, it is up to the town to help us when we are in need. It's not we're 100% on your own, have a nice day. We can go to the town and ask
And that's what we're doing.
for some money, which we are doing. But we also gave up a good chunk of money last year that I thought was a little too much and had a completely wrong line, which is payroll. But either way, at the end of the day, the worst part about getting out of an enterprise account is police station, fire station. Everybody's getting the money before this place is going to get it.
Yeah.
So we could ask for 300 and get 50.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay.
And-
Because they take all of our earnings. and
Right.
just roll it into
Right,
the
they
fund.
roll it into the general fund, which is exactly
And
what's
police is like, I
happening.
need a new car.
Right, even the insurance on that cabin, by the way, can we call on that and find that out?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, so the insurance on the cabin, if we decided not to rebuild the cabin and just collect the insurance money, it goes into the town's budget and we don't get it, even though it happened on this.
Even though it's insured from that.
Right, exactly. So if we don't rebuild that cabin, the money goes into the general fund.
But the reason for that is because the town paid for the cabin to begin with. It's a supplement.
But
But we
the
pay for the
insurance, we
insurance.
pay for the
We paid for the
insurance.
insurance, but we didn't pay for the cabin. So it's a weird.
I think the campfire girls paid for the cabin.
Exactly.
Pretty sure we can make that argument.
But the town's gonna say they paid for the place. It's.
When they bought the camp, they paid for it.
Okay, let's count depreciation in there.
No, that makes sense, that makes sense. 'Cause for some reason, everybody's using that as a, especially the thing called, they're using it as a threat to,
Right,
take
exactly.
When we
But they
first
don't have
started,
to go through town meeting, they can't just do that, they have to go through town meeting to change this from an enterprise. Take
Right.
away our.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, Dory, anything else on the departmental update?
Just the other thing I wanted to mention, but I think I'm gonna wait till the caretaker report, because I don't want to steal Rocky's thunder. After he tells you, explain that.
He even brought prompts.
Yeah, I know,
But I am gonna say one thing about the door. So this kind of happened once, and I never would have expected that door to drop, so I never thought this would end up being an issue, but.
Excuse me 1 minute, for those people watching at home.
Oh, sorry.
Could we start?
Yeah, so we have 4 doors that we drop into the floor. There's 2 cinder blocks that you push up on both sides, and the door offsets and drops on the floor in the library, which is where they have their ceremonies. Our center door, the cable broke and fell down, so we lost it. But it's I think it's, I don't know, he'll tell it's fixed. I think it's fixed. But what happened was that is the door that is blocking the entrance to the basin. So when we drop that door, we don't push it all the way down, we go underneath the door and then go to the top and push it, which isn't good. It's not gonna fall on us because the weights are heavier than the door. It's not like that's an issue. But well, now we don't know, but wait, next.
It hasn't been an issue.
It's never been an issue, so I've never been scared of it. But so here's what my thing is when it comes to the door is, now that we know that there's possibility the door has now fallen once, we were lucky that no one was underneath the basement at that time because they would have been locked in the basement because the other exit is blocked. And that's what I would like to bring up is I don't see Ed during the week, I don't bump into him. What used to be is that if you walk to the entrance of the lodge on the deck, you can open this trap door and it would take you to the basement. And what it used to be is when I first started here, that was the door we used always. We never used this back door because we knew that the windows were going to block it. So we would go to the front entrance, we go to the drop the doors, we go back out that entrance. It was just the easier, more accessible one. Especially during weddings, you can't get down there as easy when you're setting up or whatever. But in the summertime, there's a blocker in the winter, and they take off. It has insulation, it's like a board with 2 handles on it. It was always off for the whole summer. We would get access to that entrance. If you put the padlock on top, we would have a key, so on and so forth. In the winter, when the season was over, and we weren't dropping windows anymore, that would get kind of pressed against the door so that there would be no cold air getting up in the basement. That door is now like screwed in, like it's sealed, so we can't use it, which again has never been it got screwed once, I never questioned it, and we just been using the store, but now I think that needs to be reopened because they could got locked in the basement.
This is the door, this is
That's the door.
this is the one that's sealed.
Yeah.
Screwed in, sealed in.
Not only that, it's a fire code violation, you have to have a second egress.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
You need to, that needs to be undone ASAP.
Yeah.
Like that's just not right.
Well, also, I would think the doorway probably about 300 pounds coming down, some of it ever be in the doorway per se.
Yeah, be under that, that would be,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially if you hit them with a head or something
Is this
like
like a
that.
workbench?
That's a workbench in
Yeah, it
front,
goes
in front of
into the
that,
frame.
yes.
But he's just
So
trying
you
to block it
have
off, so I
to
don't
dismantle
see
that
it.
and just take a saw and cut through it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
No, it needs to be done,
It needs to be open back.
100%.
yeah, just have to take that off and make yourself functional, like I want it on that way.
I've been down there.
No, it absolutely 100% needs to be done, that's
Yeah.
not acceptable.
No,
It's not up to code.
after this hour, I did talk to him a little bit. These are all confirmations.
He's down to the front deck.
Yeah.
Down the basement.
Right.
Can't get
You
in.
Help
can
me
get
out.
in through the trap door in the deck.
He'll be able to speak to it, but
Yeah.
I think he wants to reach out to someone to change it so
We can
it's
install it.
with the safety.
Yeah.
That way, for any reason.
So we're gonna let Roger talk about this right now. Unless Maddie, you have something else?
All I was gonna say is I think Roger might have numbers, because I asked him when they came, could we get, I don't know that we can afford whatever it is, but could we get an estimate for how much it would cost to get an electrical system to put in execution? Oh, I'm sorry, Dora, I don't still doing that.
I don't care, somebody's thunder gonna start, so number 10, let's go.
That's fine, so if they want to, I only have one other thing to throw in, but I'll wait until the door conversation is over with.
Okay, go ahead.
Roger, your problem?
Oh, no, that's all right, thank you. That there's a piece of the chain that I brought to you guys. One end of it is the one that failed. We got 2 more doors and half of this door that could still go. Could happen tonight, could happen anywhere. That particular day, I just happened to be here doing some volunteer work, and I asked one of the other caretakers, do you want hand dropping the windows down? Not to toot my own horn or be a hero of any kind, I'm not. If I hadn't done that,
That person.
there would have been 2 women downstairs that had dropped this door, 99.99% sure that would happen. If neither one of them had their cell phone with them, they'd been there 3-4 hours till somebody come looking for them. My suggestion is we have this door finished with the other side being done and the other 2 doors be redone with the new materials.
Which you're talking about the metal cables.
Metal cables instead of
Right.
chain.
Right.
No, it's a cable. Yeah. With a
And
plastic
we
cap.
do have a price on that from Gordon. Gordon was kind enough, I called Gordon, he got out here immediately practically. And we are super lucky to have him. And he took care of it for the weekend, right? And then he gave a price for fixing all of them.
Yeah, he can fix all the remaining 3 with all the wires and cables, everything new, repaired, replaced. And he also said he's gonna come back tomorrow morning and explain better, but a better way than it is right now, the way to the 2 people. He has a way that he can do it with 1 person, so you wouldn't need the 2 caretakers for opening and closing for that. So he can do all that, and he gave me a price of $3,100.
Okay, now, you were talking about having them, go ahead,
Well,
Brian.
it's kind of a twofold there with the repair and the counterweights and not paying the counterweights never have been because they've always broken throughout time. Does he have a safety mechanism that would be put in place with those counterweights? Because if not, I would probably want to talk to Brian, because me and Brian talked about this a little bit about maybe making them electric. Up and down, gear-driven, with the
But that's
safety.
expensive.
So,
Yeah.
but even if you had gear driven, right, if it's a wire, the wire will still snap, you still lose the door.
Like
Right,
just
unless
like a
unless it was
garage.
all like a track, like a garage door track. that has some kind of safety
Sometimes
on
you
it.
have the capability with, different things as far as electronic guys and, everything, braking systems. Do you need all 4 doors to go up and down, all 4 windows? Is
Yes,
that-
yes.
I mean, could you get it by with 2 and just frame up on the 2 of them? I mean,
You'd lose a lot of the effect by
But
doing
what
it.
people want is the view out there during their ceremony. It's the major selling point for
And
that.
they use that for their wedding, so their
It
the
spills.
tables, I mean, the chairs go the whole length of the library, and then you'd end up with 2 doors in front.
Yeah, no,
You know?
it's definitely, yeah.
Why don't we?
You know, and I know you get that face, and I know you do that, but you know what? If you're a bride and you're
but you
going,
still have the 2, if you have 2 in the
Brian.
center window.
It's
No.
not
So do we have,
It's
do we have
not
$300
ceremony,
well,
not
on
on
that deck.
Yeah, I know.
You don't need a motion.
Yes,
I was just gonna say, take out, I love the prettiness of the view too, but just logistically in that, we can't fit the 60 chairs with the 2 windows closed on the sides because they can't see behind the windows. So people will be sitting behind glass trying to watch the wedding. We can't frame those because we have a giant post in the middle of the aisle. We have to leave room on both sides of that post so the bride can do a loop, but splitting that up far enough to make an aisleway set into those window spaces, so we can't block them because we're limiting how many people can fit in that room to watch the wedding, which is only 60, but it's still that room's so tiny and weird shaped that we need those 4 windows dropped so they have full accessibility to be able to see the wedding and sit without the big library posts in the center of all the seatings.
Brian?
So can we maybe talk to Gordon? Yeah, not on the mechanic counterweights, but if that's where it's broken out, fine, I'm for it. See if there's a way you can put a safety mechanism in there, whether that kills them halfway or something.
Yeah, on the bottom, no.
Right, that way they're not bottoming up to 3 feet, and then the person at 6 feet becomes 3 feet tall. In the interim, I think we should maybe make a phone call to the facilities and.
Well, you're not under them when you pull them down.
I know that,
You're
but
next to
someone's
them.
down cellar.
No, even when you're down cellar, you're not under the doors.
You were on that
You're under a weight that weighs between 50 and 75
one.
pounds.
That though, the one that fell,
Yeah,
was if you open that downstairs door, it would end up on your head.
right, I get that, which is why we shouldn't be using that door when we're opening the windows. We should
Right.
be using the front door.
I agree.
Right, but when you're pulling that door down, you're not underneath the door.
Right.
Right.
Again, how long has, if one chain breaks, you're looking for 150 pounds, they both break, you're trying to hook up 300
Okay.
pounds. This has been an issue
hold on, okay, Maddie?
I was looking for one thing, he's keeping the counterweights, and we just asked Gordon, the two that he did, and I'm so excited the last one was working, but they're really low to the ground, so as a caretaker, we're getting out of the center block, so we're really low,
Right.
hold them up. Is there any way on when he fixes any counterweights, he can just keep them high enough so we're not going super low?
I'm going to suggest this. Gordon is coming tomorrow,
Yeah, he can do the work this week.
and he can do the work this week. Why don't we email any suggestions and everything to Dory for the morning,
Mhm.
and you can ask him all of these,
Sure.
and then you can report back what he says to everybody.
Yep,
And we want as many safety measures as we can get.
right.
Okay.
So, and then as far as the go-ahead for him to, if all your concerns, you want to take a vote, just give him, because he can get started tomorrow and finish it this week,
Okay.
which would be great, because we've got stuff going on.
That's doing all of them right now.
All of them, all
Did he
three.
say how he's gonna do it so just one person can lift them?
He, not specifically, he's coming in tomorrow morning.
Tommy has their counterweights.
But if you want to,
Because those weights go up in there, and they're binding in there.
okay, rather than speculate on this right now, and in the interest of time, can we vote on this?
Yeah.
And then if anybody wants to be here when Gordon is here, please feel free to
Yeah,
come up,
come here.
otherwise email your questions.
Yeah, and he already spent most of the day today getting the materials. He had to
Right,
go to like
so-
6 different places.
Would anyone like to, I will entertain a motion to have Gordon fix the windows so that they are safe to operate?
What was that first again?
3100.
So,
Second.
All those in favor? Yes. Okay.
now the interim, do you want us to reach out about electronic or just stay clear?
I think it needs to be looked at for the future, but it is very
You
expensive.
get a quote.
Right, we're not looking.
You know, keep
And
that.
I'm sure that the work that's being done now would need to be done even if it gets to the electric, the cables need, so it will all come under that whole
Yeah.
proposal. Yep. Okay? All right, the last thing is old business. I have two things under old business. The girl that did the crafts this summer, she lived in the craft cabin, she would like to do some of that over Christmas break and possibly February break, and use a little part of the lodge away from the kitchen.
Did you say kitchen?
Away from,
Away from.
So she wants to do it in the lodge.
yes, because it would be winter.
That's what it says. It's pretty cold.
She just set up the tables.
Yeah, she's just gonna set tables up.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay? Are we okay with that?
We still have to run for an 80/20, right?
Yes.
He's good for a year.
Yep.
Yes.
And I would say as long as it doesn't interfere with yoga and drama kids.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll get the schedule and yes, we'll get going with that. This would be during the vacations.
Mhm.
So December, Christmas vacation and February vacation. Are we good with that?
Because drivers at the end of the day on Mondays,
Right.
and then the other ones are morning or afternoon.
So as long as the February vacation doesn't interfere with Brian's roof work though, right?
Well,
She won't need the kitchen. She's just gonna be out here.
Okay.
She can probably operate just right up there by the stage. Okay? And then the last thing I'm putting under old business, only because we've already reorganized, but I have already submitted my letter to the Board of Selectmen at Town Hall today, and I'm stepping down as chairperson effective immediately and resigning my position on this commission as of December 1st. I'm very sorry. Okay, don't be sorry, Diana. Don't be sorry.
Very good you have to do that, your sanity.
I have to take care of my family, okay? So,
There's a meeting for forever.
I will still want. I will still
Back in somewhere else.
So, you will all have to decide on a new chairperson. Okay? And
Decide that now.
I think, Dorian, unclear on the procedure, and Lucy is unable to talk to me today. So, do we do that now?
If you're stepping down effective immediately, then yes, I would recommend.
So if
Unless
anyone-
you wanted to table it, but you probably want a chairperson in place.
Do we have to put it on the agenda for a reorg? I guess is my question.
Well, Diane closed it under old business, so.
You said December 1st.
I'm resigning my-
Resigning December 1st.
My role as chairperson will end today,
Okay, all right,
and you will need to appoint a new chairperson. And my position on this committee, on this commission, will end December 1st.
okay. Okay, so you'll be on the commission?
Until December 1st.
Not as chairperson.
Correct.
We can do it, reorganize the next meeting, can't we?
Yeah.
That way it's on the agenda, and all,
Yeah.
I guess, again, you still have a vice chair here,
Yeah,
secretary, so
Yeah,
we can still move forward.
be safe. Yeah, I mean,
What do you recommend, Dory?
I recommend that. I'm a little uncomfortable with it not being an agenda item and having another reorg. So I think it's wise to wait, and you step down, so, and then put it on the next agenda. I think.
So you would open the meeting, Dory?
Or,
Melissa?
Oh, Melissa,
Melissa.
Melissa's vice chair, that's
yeah.
right.
Okay.
Don't ask me.
Wait, but can I just make a note that my meeting was?
37 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I got home, Megan was like, what happened?
You
It's
know
fine.
that.
I'm like, no, it was like 37 minutes long.
well, then there you go. You put it all on the agenda. Yes, I'm okay with it. All right? All right, so right now I'm going to make a motion. Roger?
Kind of stepped over the caretakers. One more item.
I apologize.
That's okay. One more item that I know it's something you guys have talked about probably in the past, and it's outside this handicap door. We got a lot of stone and stuff in there, and we've got a child coming in here the past 2 weeks now in a wheelchair. She had 2 hip surgeries, double hip surgeries. So she comes in here in a wheelchair. My understanding is we can't put concrete, we can't put blacktop out there.
We need a ramp.
There might be some kind of alternative stuff out there, and I was wondering, what's the thought, and maybe some of these guys might have better ideas. If I do a heavy grass seed out there, do you think that would put a good base down for wheelchairs instead of these rocks?
I think a heavy grass seed, number one, you get mud in here.
Yeah.
And that's one thing.
Or wash down.
Yeah.
I
What-
get talked
what
about
do we
it
do?
after that, and why don't we go to conservation, find out, between me and him, we'll talk to someone with conservation, find out, because I know there's a thing about tar, but I talked to Brian, he doesn't think there's an issue with concrete.
Are you talking about coming in the store here?
Coming in the store, everything out front is all rock.
Don't we have?
Can't we purchase a ramp? It's a metal ramp, you put it out
Yeah,
as needed.
But we're already at ground level.
You can dig down.
There is a ramp.
You can
It's
dig.
hard to get through the stone, like even dragging a trash can through there is a nightmare, because it's like,
Yeah.
you're just bouncing everywhere, so I can understand why a wheelchair has a tough time getting in.
Right,
There's
no,
already a ramp.
There's already a ramp.
There is already a concrete ramp right there that gets you right outside that door, but it just dumps you into the,
Oh, he's talking about concrete in a larger area.
Right, well, I get that.
But there are sewer covers out there too, and
But they're not right in front of the store.
No, he's just talking about the area at the front of the door. And then-
well, if we're redoing a ramp, then there shouldn't be a problem.
So even if we
What's the
can't,
drop though? Is it just a ground level?
And while Alan's here, we need him to drop it more.
so even if we can't do concrete, we can still do large pavers there.
Yeah, right.
So instead of even going to conservation, we can go to Lowe's and get some of those concrete
Yeah.
pavers that are there.
That's
You
an
know,
option.
Yeah, we can just do that, so we have to, we can bypass the whole conservation, and we can have Alan when he's here, see if he can dig out 3 inches of.
Grade it a little bit.
Grade it a little bit there, and then we can just put pavers down. I mean, they're super cheap too, so.
It's fine with me if that's what we want to do, obviously it's not up to me. We
Are you
need something
thinking
out
pave
there.
that whole area?
No, I'm just saying pave the doors. Yeah, pave the doors. So however, I mean, you were here when you started, so I mean, I would say you could use your best judgment to figure out where the pavers need to go.
Go as wide as with the 2 doors are, and go straight out, say 15 feet area, roughly.
Well, you need 3 feet for a wheelchair, usually it's 36 inches.
Well, we got double doors here, so we got
Same way.
4.5 feet.
Right.
Yeah. I think if you have Alan do that, if you mark it out, and then I don't know, send a picture of Brian's, I'm gonna call him Brian. And then, see if that works, but I think the pavers will do just fine. And you still have a little bit of sand on it, you usually do like a
Right.
patio or something like that.
If we can incorporate that in, the same time he's got machinery up there, I think that'd be great.
Okay,
Having money.
Is that something we could tie into the,
landscaping,
Yeah,
you might be able to,
I think so. That's part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, tie-
yeah.
Plus, it's not like it's stuff that could cause for you to,
Right.
for wheelchairs to get in.
oh, absolutely.
right, you want to make it as accessible
Yeah,
as
it's
possible.
accessible as possible.
Right.
Okay, so purchase pavers. Figure it out? Okay, we'll vote on it. Do you need to vote on it for next meeting? Or just do it now?
Yeah, I think you can do it now.
Okay, we're gonna spend up to how much? It's gonna come out of 5,700.
I
We're
would
spending
say,
up to 2 on the trees.
I would say up to 500 probably. I don't think pavers should be that much. Maybe it should be pretty cheap. And then the pavers there that you have there,
Unless they don't have them, and we can't get them. We're gonna ship it out.
yeah, you go to Lowe's for that anyway.
Okay.
All those Home Depot,
Yeah.
check with the card for.
All right, so we'll make a motion to spend up to $500 on pavers for the upgrading of the handicap door access. All those in favor? Second. Thanks, Audrey. All those in favor? Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
They're $3.98 for a 16 by 16.
We can get
Okay, can we make a motion to adjourn this meeting,
Good.
please?
Second.
All those in favor? Good night.